It's anime, and it's everything. Alrighty, everyone, we are live. Welcome to the bi-weekly podcast. Twice a month, you get to talk to your three favorite anime besties. I'm Romeo. On my left, we have our maiden in the group.
Hey everybody, what's up?
And it's gonna be Ven. And then on our right, we have the looks like a maiden in the group, but it's gonna be Fujin.
You're not wrong, but hello. And technically, I'm on your left.
Damn. I was looking from the audience's perspective. Oh no, I'm a fraud. But welcome. So today, we all got hit by life a little bit. Things have been kind of crazy. Obviously, Romeo, Venice, we live in the same house. Our furnace is out. Whenever I stream, it's like 90 degrees in this room. So I'm sweating like a fucking pig. Fujin's been up to some stuff. So as far as you can share if you want to.
No, it's okay. I'll hold off on that for now. But I sure have been up to some stuff.
Yeah, he's been up to some stuff. So as far as theming, while we had like a very structured episode for you last time, this time I think we're just going to talk about general philosophies, maybe some anime updates, because as co-hosts, we're still getting to know each other. So I figured we could kind of talk about some of our favorite characters and then maybe pop open Made in Abyss, since Venice and I are all caught up on season 1.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
We could do that.
Okay. Well, let's actually do Made in Abyss first for our anime moderator, Miku.
He knows what to do.
Okay. So let me pop out the chat because I know that she's going to have some thoughts. So.
Okay. Mika's going to have some thoughts. I'm going to have some thoughts.
Yeah, I got to have you both up.
Yeah.
We are all going to have some thoughts. God damn it. No. Get over here. Sorry, my window collapsed.
I will defend certain things if necessary.
Okay, perfect. So then let's start off with first impressions. Ven, what did you think of the show? And you want to give a synopsis so that anybody who hasn't seen it can kind of have that new person perspective?
This is going to be interesting.
Okay, so basically the show is about these kids who I guess work as, what is it? Cave diggers.
Yeah, I think cave divers or hunters, something like that.
Cave divers. And obviously we have our main character, Rico, and she has a connection with the Abyss. I don't know how much detail I should be throwing out there, but basically she goes on this journey to go down into the Abyss with her newfound robot boy Reg. And it basically goes through their journey through that
to reach the bottom of the abyss.
Yes, reach the bottom. First impression, I thought it was a really interesting concept. I feel like I don't watch a lot of kid animes where like kids are the main characters, but when I do, I typically enjoy them. And I also like the music. The music's really good. The aesthetic is really cute. So I was already like pulled in from the first couple episodes, which Romeo could tell his experience about.
Yeah. Now, actually, I'll jump in. I do think I can't tell you which song it is, but there is a song that I'm gonna see like how aggressive they are with it. Just like every time I would hear it, I was like, oh my God, I'm at peace. Like, this is what I want the soundtrack of my life to be set to at my funeral.
I think I know what it is.
It's just so peaceful.
Kevin Pagan's soundtrack is literally like one of the main reasons that it's just impeccable. It's like probably one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in my life.
Well, we have no qualms there. If you had sold me on the soundtrack, then it would have been fine.
I wasn't gonna like spoil you on the soundtrack. The soundtrack you have to experience that without any
solid. I was pleasantly surprised.
It's that beginning sequence when you the song's name is Underground River, the one that plays right at the beginning of episode 1.
Underground River, okay.
That is like, it's such a good song.
Is that the one that's like recurring through the throughout the series? Like every time there's like a serious moment or they're like talking about something, there's like this peaceful background music.
Is it like the one with like there's like the rising violin at the beginning?
I could not tell you.
In which case, it is that one, yes.
I thought it was more like a steel drum-esque sound, but different, like a synthetic
I mean, there's a lot of like sort of musical themes
chimes
carrying
and
across
shit.
the entire soundtrack. So
It's really nice. It's really nice. I'm definitely adding that to the bedtime playlist. Watching Made in Abyss, the animation, the aesthetic, it gives me like a more polished The Promised Neverland. First watching The Promised Neverland was really tough because I was like, these kids, they're squished. Why are their faces like that? They're monsters. And then you see little Phil, and he's so cute, and it makes sense. It clicks, right?
Oh
You're
my
like,
God,
that's what the
yeah.
art style is meant to look like. I think Made in Abyss has some elements of like that chibi, cutesy, but it's refined in a way that's easier to take in when you first watch it, and it juxtaposes really well with how like horrific the world can be. So, no, from a aesthetic standpoint, I would definitely give it like a 9 out of 10, maybe plus. When we're talking about world building, now season 1 is a little interesting. Nothing went as deep as I wanted it to. Like, I really wanted to learn more about the structure of, you got the whistles, you got red, then you got blue and purple, midnight, black, white. And I really wanted to know more about the organization and how that's going to play out. Obviously, we get to meet a representative of every whistle color, but we don't really get to know much about any one class outside of our red whistle characters. And maybe you could argue Ozen.
that's what you got to look forward to later on with the white whistles.
Yeah. But for me, while I'm excited about learning more about the white whistles. By the way, spoilers, we're going to be talking about Made in Abyss like very in depth because we're watching it. But the thing for me is that the white whistles are the pinnacle. So I want to compare Made in Abyss to Hunter x Hunter because it's actually a very similar setup to where you have like bright-eyed children who are going on a journey to a place where they're guaranteed to die. And even though Killua and Reg are very different, Rico and Gon a little bit more similar, when we're learning about hunters and like the ranks and the exam and like that element of world building, we kind of explored the lower ranks before we got introduced to everything else. So it was kind of weird for us to meet Ozen so early on and get like her backstory before I've even learned anything about Jiruo, But
I think the thing there is that like because Ozen's so important to Rico's backstory specifically,
Yeah.
it kind of made sense for it to appear that early. And also I feel like the anime introduces the concept of white whistles, and yet we don't really know what they are. So it's nice to like see one, because like Ozen's character introduction is like impeccable because it really introduces you to like what it means to be a white whistle without being in the scenario that makes one. So basically, the story has picked a white whistle out of their like their usual habitat and then put it in an early position. So the white whistles look like way scarier and like mysterious. Well, they are scary. And they are
yeah, I was about to say, no, they definitely are.
But obviously, it doesn't. Usually, they're in scary and mysterious circumstances that make them like you can kind of see where it comes from. Whereas because Ozen's so high up, she's only on the second layer. You see that like early warning of like what the abyss can do to people before you can get to that point.
So I want to do a little bit more glazing of the show because I have some criticisms, and I think Venice does as well. But the show is fantastic. Overall, based on season 1, if I'm including the potential that I see for it going into season 2, because I thought the ending of season 1 was like its strongest. My goat Nanachi, I was so happy.
Yes, best character. Nanachi is like the whole from the bit when they get to the 4th layer onwards is literally like every episode is impeccable. Like I cannot think of a single scene in that whole like 3 or 4 episode part where that is bad. It's just all good. Okay, perfect. I'm glad to hear that. We may have to end up buying a subscription to watch season 2, and unfortunately they only had it on like Amazon. You said what? You're gonna watch the film first, Romeo?
Oh, okay. So we actually do include the films. We can do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just the 3rd film. The 3rd film is the only one that continues it because the first 2 films are recaps. And then the 3rd film is the sequel, which is the second. Like that's the arc that happens after season 1, and then season 2 picks up after the end of the film. So you have to watch the film for season 2 to make sense.
Perfect. So Miku, you said pirated, bro, not anime. We want to get sponsored someday. So even if we were going to, we're not going to say that. As a mod, I need you to be on this, Miku. Business minded, make the money move. But our goat Nanachi is, in my opinion, the best reason to watch the first season of Made in Abyss. I'm gonna be honest. My first criticism is that I don't like the majority of the characters. The way that I would describe it is that Ozen and Nanachi are like two peaks of season 1.
Okay, I'm glad you like Ozen as well.
Yeah.
She's one of my favorite characters
She's
as well.
awesome.
She's
She's
brilliant.
goated.
I love Ozen. Like the fact that when we got to Ozen, Venice said like from the very beginning, the aesthetic, she was sucked in. Me, I was not. I was not invested. The music was awesome, but
Well,
until Ozen popped on screen, I was not. Go ahead, man.
well, I do want to say that while I was sucked in, there were moments where I was like, okay, like I after the initial like good first impression, I also wasn't a fan of Reg and Rico just because I feel like their dynamic wasn't like basically what would happen is that like Rico would know all these things and then at the end of the day like Reg would just save her and it seemed like they would just focus on Reg's ability to help Rico and nothing more of his character
Mm.
was explored other than what he could do for Rico. And Rico would just kind of be like, while she is knowledgeable, she never really like did anything for herself, like physically when they were in those situations. And I thought during the training arc, you know, maybe we'd see something where like she could fend for herself, even if it's something small, but that didn't end up panning out either. And then on top of that, we had to watch a dub. So I feel like I didn't like the dub voices as much because I feel like I would find what they were saying annoying because of the voice they were saying it in. I don't know if that makes
And
sense.
it's specifically certain moments, like when Rico or Reg are like yelling each other's name over and over again when things are like going.
To say Rico's name a lot, I will say that much.
Yeah, it's like first off, stop saying Rico's name. She's not gonna do shit.
Yeah.
All right, say your own name. Just Reg, Big Daddy Reg, Big
Say
Papa
your
Reg.
own
Okay,
name.
say your own name because you're the one that's gonna solve this, Reg.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, not always.
In
There was
season,
that episode
in
where
season 1?
Reg uses his incinerator for what I believe is the second time,
Yeah.
and he's knocked out for like a whole hour, so Rico has to basically do her own stuff.
See, check it out. Here's the problem with that. The problem with that is she gets eaten, and she does save them by cutting out of the thing. But the conclusion to that episode is Reg woke up just in time to save them from the Scarlet Splitjaw. So, like, even as Rico was protecting Reg, without him, again, they would have died. So he had to wake up.
Well, that's the point of the episode, though, is that like the episode isn't supposed to prove that Rico can handle herself. It's to prove that she can't. It's to prove that she's made this reckless decision, and the only reason she's even alive is because she has Reg.
So now let's jump over.
She
Oh, sorry,
gets
go ahead.
hit by that she gets hit by the harsh reality of Reg is knocked out for any period of time. Like that's not even in that very short period of time. She's eaten. She's like becomes delirious. She like starts hallucinating. She nearly dies. It's the first time she's like, because this whole time she's had this safety net of Reg is there. He's got his stretchy arms. He's got his immunity to the curse. And yet this one moment, if she is lax enough and isn't aware of the fact that she is as weak as she is, then she's going to be in trouble. Like she has to balance the whole like Reg is useful to me, but how useful am I on my own kind of thing, which I think is interesting.
But in the story, this happens just after their training with Ozen. And so as much as I like Ozen, and as much as I like Jiruo and all the other characters at the beginning, allowing Rico to make this journey without having had that realization was reckless, right? Then when she gets to the second layer, meets Ozen, who is for all intents and purposes like cheering her on and has already decided like they're going to die if I don't do something. Without having her have that realization, then it feels like they're sending her off to die. And maybe they know something that I don't, or maybe they have some sort of faith in Rico. But even after this realization that you're talking about, Rico is still pretty reckless. Like she's still, well, first off, yelling constantly. Every time she's talking, she is loud as hell in the middle of what is instant death territory. And I'm like, I couldn't do it. Shut the fuck up, Rico. Please shut the fuck up.
Yeah, most of the Rico payoff admittedly isn't until like the movie in season 2. Like in season 1, Rico is very much just like Reg is here to do everything for me.
Okay.
And even then later on, it's like Reg is here to do most things for me, which, to be fair, is kind of necessary given that she cannot so much as go upwards without being injured.
Yeah. As far as criticisms go, I think it is completely fair to say that season 1 Rico is not it, right? Like, if you have seen how her character develops and you have those hopes and expectations for her, then that makes sense. But I would say Reg did much more development in how he manages himself and learns how to take care of her each and every time. And then it pays off completely with Nanachi, who ends up being like the anxiety lifter, right? Like Reg and Rico together, I'm like, no, they're gonna die. They need help. They need help. And then Nanachi swoops in, and it's like, okay, the children aren't gonna become meat or piles of shit somewhere.
No, Nanachi is like the savior. She's just she's the one level-headed person, because like Reg's powerful, but he is not stable mentally.
He's such a coward too, which is funny. I love that about him, but Rico does not make a good foil for him. Because as much as she is like fearless, she can't instill the confidence that I feel like Reg needs to be his best.
That's why Nanachi is necessary.
Yeah,
like she is the one person who can be like, I'm gonna infuse you both, like with the not so much courage, because obviously there's lots of situations where courage doesn't do anything, but it's just stability. It's like, okay, I'm here to do something. And more importantly, she actually plans ahead, which they never usually do.
Yep. So, and I'm gonna say, again, this is a criticism of season 1. I do understand that like payoffs characters can grow and develop. It's one of my favorite things. It does suck that Nanachi was introduced so late. I think that after Reg passes out and Rico has to make that journey on her own, it probably would have been better to structure it where like the orb piercer happens during that moment. Like Reg is able to fend it off or is able to help her out, but she's in a spot that she can't overcome, and then she has that realization after being healed or after being revived. It dragged a bit for me. I was not confident that they should have survived the 3rd layer to even make it to the 4th layer with Nanachi. But that's my primary criticism. Back to you, Vin. Oh, you still there, babe?
Oh. Yeah, hello?
Okay, yeah, I gotcha. Did you have any other criticisms before we get into the stuff that we like or are looking forward to with the series?
No, I said you pretty much covered most of it. Yeah, all of it.
Okay. Fantastic. Now let's talk about the best parts about the show. I know the soundtrack is phenomenal. While I don't necessarily care for Rico and Reg's dynamic, Nanachi's backstory and like the body horror MIDI.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I need to hear what you thought of the elevator scene. It's the one that I warned you about.
Oh, that's what you were warning us about? The elevator scene?
Oh, really?
Oh, no, that shit was awesome.
I warned you about other parts too, but the elevator scene was part of it.
You know what I thought you were warning us about? The fucking getting tied up.
Yes, I was warning you about that as well. That was part of the...
Okay, I couldn't...
There are some things...
When that happened and I saw that, I was like, this is what Fujin thought we were... This is why this is a Hear Me Out? The whole time, I was thinking about how Miku shit on me for putting Berserk as a Hear Me Out, and you let that shit slide? Like, it's so tame.
In my defense, it's worse in the manga.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well, then, maybe that... You didn't recommend the manga, though, for your last list.
But the anime has the soundtrack and, the animation and everything. So.
No, I'm just saying, if the Hear Me Out is for the manga, then you also failed at a Hear Me Out. No, but... I thought it was beyond fine, the quote-unquote fetish element. It is a bit weird, but like it's only weird if you make it weird. The show does not dwell on it too long. But go ahead, but you can talk about the elevator scene. And subsequently, that's our first introduction to another White Whistle, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Who's going to be a prominent character in the film.
Honestly, I was clenching my booty hole. I was like, I don't like body horror, and I felt so bad for Mitty. It was just a really messed up situation. But it made Nanachi, like that being her backstory, made her an even like stronger character for me. Just because she went through all that trauma, and then she had to like live with her, and try to
Mm-hmm.
find a cure, and literally nothing worked. So pretty much like she would just be low-key torturing her too,
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
through all the like quote unquote like solutions that she would try to find. So yeah, but the elevator scene itself, it was crazy. Um, it was not fun to watch, but it was good. I don't
First,
know.
completely disagree. It was fun to watch. I think anime is at its best when it's doing things that like you really hope that it wouldn't. All right. Whenever I'm in a situation and it's like Midi is already, we've seen her in the present. Okay. So seeing her in the past and like this is a little girl and she's gonna get turned into a lump of flesh, right? With her teeth out sideways, drooling and shit, a single eye. We got to get from point A to point B at some point. Okay. So the fact that they went all in and just like, yeah, this is what happens. This Curse of the Abyss, it's no joke. It's no fucking joke. It was awesome. I think they should have showed it. I think it really escalated the stakes because up to that point, we really don't get to see that much of how horrifying the Abyss can be, even with the curse. Rico like bleeding out of her eyes and nose, like that was already huge. As she's like crying from the pain and trying to instruct Reg on how to save what's left of her arm, like that was intense. And then the MIDI scene adds on top of that. So, you know, I know you said it was a hard watch because you don't like, again, body horror and all that kind of stuff. But nah, that was 10 out of 10. Probably the best part of the first season.
Venice, if you struggle with body horror, you might have a hard time in season 2.
I'll still watch it. It's just I'm gonna be sitting there like sweating. I'll still watch it. But good to know. Thank you for the warning.
I mean, it's not like as intense, like, because obviously they clearly played the elevator scene for drama, whereas like the body horror later on is more just like, it's so common in that layer of the Abyss that it just kind of happens a lot.
Yeah, and that's
it's never like it's never lingered on as much because like at that point you know what the curse does at that level, so that the show doesn't like, you know, drive it home as much as it had at the beginning.
So to Miku, as far as the Made in Abyss OST, once I get a feel for if it's something we can do without a copyright issue, I may consider it. For now, we have this nice library that I'm playing. Venice and Fujin can't hear it, but I'm vibing with you, and it's pretty nice. But definitely, if we can, I would love to transition over to a Made in Abyss OST.
Yeah, I feel like there are certain music companies might not be too happy about that.
Right. It's very, very likely that we won't be able to, but I'll give it a look. But that's cool. So our next step is the movie. The thing I do want to focus on for this section while we're still on Made in Abyss is talking about characters. If today's about like what makes a good character versus a bad character, just using season 1, I think we can kind of ascertain some examples, right? Because every character feels like an archetype. Like, you know, my top 3 characters in this show.
I mean, they're probably the same as my top 3.
All right, who are your top 3? I bet my number 3 you won't even be able to guess.
I'm trying to think of who my number 3, because my favorite is Nanachi and my second favorite is Ozan.
Okay, yep. Top 1 and 2 are in order. Perfect.
3, I'm trying to think about that. Well, okay, my third favorite character is in season 2, so I can't actually tell you.
Yep, no, season 1.
Okay, in season 1, God, that is a tough one.
It's not Reg, Rico.
Because all my other favorite characters are in the movie in season 2, so...
You should have told us this before we started. You were like, oh, best anime of all time. And we're not even meeting the goods.
Probably Jiro in that case.
Jiro's a good guess, but it's not Jiro.
For me, in season 1 specifically, it's Jiro.
They are a smaller character, I'll give you that.
No, is it called...
Is it the Black Pistol guy whose name I always forget?
Nope, Habo.
Habo, yeah, that's it.
No. Is it one of the other kids?
Maybe.
Is it Shiggy?
Nope.
The one that was telling them not to go.
The one you were... Oh.
Is it Marolk?
Nope.
Running out season 1 characters. It's not Liza. She's not in season 1 enough.
She's kind of in season 1, but nope, it's not Liza. You both are never gonna guess.
What the heck?
Is it Kiwi?
It's Kiwi. Kiwi is my third favorite character.
Kiwi doesn't do anything.
See, but okay, Kiwi does do things in season 1, and I think Kiwi is like a great grounding character. So part of why I want to pop this open. I just mentioned Phil from The Promised Neverland, right?
Oh, I see. I
Goated,
see where
so
you're coming from.
Yeah, Phil is like a goated character. Even though he doesn't do a ton in The Promised Neverland, he kind of gives the audience a motivation, right? When everybody's fighting, I think Emma and oh man, I forgot the other two main characters' names. Who's the black haired kid?
What, Ray?
Ray, and then who's the white haired kid?
Norman. Norman.
Norman. Okay, Ray and Norman. Okay. So as the three of them are like fighting against the world, the entire time for me, I'm like thinking about Phil. I'm like, oh, they gotta make this happen, right? We've got to make it for Phil. Phil cannot be turned into a sandwich. Okay. And that kind of character in a show not only helps the audience relate, but it does characterize your main characters as having something of value, something that they care about. Kiwi, on the other hand, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say, I did find it really funny that that Phil ended up being like canonically the fourth most intelligent character in the show. Like they just pull it out of nowhere. It's like they're like, oh, by the way, Phil has like the fourth highest test scores, right behind the three main characters. And I was like, what?
That's so funny. Which I mean, he also did end up helping out when he was on the farm by himself, or the orphanage.
Oh yeah, it's just really funny because you don't expect it. Like he's so like non-verbal.
Yeah. But in season 1, the first time we're introduced to Kiwi, he helps them sneak Reg in by like dropping his book off and then pretending to be like a baby, even though he is like, people would look at him that way. You can tell that like there's some depth with Kiwi. He's young, but he also knows his place. He didn't do like the annoying kid thing where it's like, oh, I want to come to the abyss with you. He was just like, hey, love you, bros. Be safe.
Yeah.
Deuces. He's a very chill character. And like, out of all of the characters in season 1, Kiwi came across as like the most realistic, the most grounded. Like, you got these, again, black whistles, white whistles, who are letting these two kids go off to die because they did not sufficiently train them. Jiro said you would even make it past the second level, but then lets her go down to the bottom? Whereas
the thing with Jiro is that he did test her. He was like, if you can outrun Habbo, then I'll let you go.
But she couldn't. They got caught. They got
caught. That was Habbo's decision, not Jiro's.
Yeah. So again, multiple people had to make the decision to let these kids get killed.
I think they were all betting on Reg, to be honest with you. Like there wasn't a single character that was like, yeah, Rika can make it on her own. They were like, oh, Reg's with her, therefore she'll probably be okay.
Which, again, maybe we'll learn more about the Albad and how, like, what place they occupy. It seemed like most of them don't know much about Reg or his race or what's going on with him, but they kind of just bet on him, which still levies the criticism of, like, betting Rico's life on this thing you do not know, right? They don't even know what the incinerator does.
A lot of the lesser whistles, like, you know, the mid-level whistles, like, they don't know what like high tier relics can do, but they're aware of the stories of how powerful max level relics are, that they feel like, well, if she has one, she'll probably be okay in the lower levels. Yeah,
which it goes back and forth where it like they glaze the abyss and how dangerous it is constantly, but then they're so willing to trust this inexperienced cave raider because she has this max level relic. And so for me, it's a little bit of dissonance, because it's like, which impression do you want me to have? Is the abyss horrible, or can you like take a tool and conquer it whenever you want?
Well, the thing of that is it's kind of neither. Like the whole thing that they talk about in season 1, and probably more in season 2, is like the spirit to want to go into the abyss no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the like it's not so much will people go into the abyss, it's like when will it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone who knows Rico is like, she's gonna go eventually at some point. Like, if she's gonna forcibly go on her own, we could at least be there and see what she's got with her and see if she's like gonna stand a chance. It's better than her going in completely by herself.
I mean, but they have a, and I'll make this last comment before I finish my Kiwi analysis on like why I think he's so important. But they have this whole school, and that is the orphanage that's training the whistles. They have this progression system, right? Red whistles will only go down to max the second layer. Then you would have like a blue whistle, and then as you're getting down to like third and fourth layers, those are going to be your midnight whistles, black whistles, white whistles, and beyond. And so having that and just saying, like, I wish more people made connections between Liza and Rico. That would have made me feel better, because then it's like, oh, I trust in Liza, you know, the annihilator or the destroyer, right? You are Liza's daughter.
Jiro kind of does that though. Like he refers to the letter when she says, this is probably why it's okay for you to go, because like He's because remember Habo's the one that gives the letter back to her because she doesn't have it with her when she goes down.
Yeah.
And he's like, you probably need this information. It's going to be helpful, which is clearly implied that like because they also want to know if Liza was actually the one that asked for her or not. But regardless if it was her or not who sent the message, it's clearly like Liza's clearly down there. So it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. They have some level of faith in Liza to let her get away with doing that, you know.
But faith in Liza and it's different than like faith in Rico to live up to Liza's legacy. But it's okay. We will see in later seasons. The thing is, I found that very hard to digest. I wasn't seeing the vision, and then to watch how season 1 ends, where Nanachi is essentially the Deus Ex Machina that helps them out. Having a character like Kiwi, who is a normal kid, who gets treated like a normal kid, who gets sick like a normal kid, that they worry over, but he's also like this cute little bundle of joy who wants good for everybody. He cries when they argue, and like he's just an all-around solid character. To me, that helped to make this world that is kind of senseless a little bit more familiar. And so I don't think good characters have to always be like these deep backstory written, like this is the most memorable part. But if the character fulfills a role or a goal of like, getting the audience to suspend their disbelief, then that's a good character, right? So Kiwi, for me, he allowed me to do that. Everybody else is crazy when it comes to Liza, Rico, and Reg, but goddamn it, they're still protecting Kiwi, so I guess they're not all that bad. Maybe I can trust them. Venice, what's your top 3?
My top 3, Nanachi, Ozen, and I liked I forgot her name. I liked Ozen's assistant.
Yeah.
Marok.
Yeah, that's Maruk. Yeah, Maruk.
Yeah, she was cool.
She
was
yeah,
happy
he.
to... Oh, my bad. My bad. Don't cancel me. Yeah, he's cool. I like how he just wanted to be a kid again when they came. Honestly.
Yeah. You can also make the argument. Sorry, just the same reason I like Kiwi is why you would like Maruk, but it's like a more active version. But go ahead, Fuja.
I was gonna say in terms of like season 1 characters that we don't see much of, and Liza, is it like even though we don't, or at least you don't know much about White Whistles right now, it's interesting that she's like the outlier because everyone's like, oh, White Whistles are so like they're so scary and like mysterious and like you know morally grey in a lot of cases. And obviously the beginning of the story is like, oh, White Whistles are great, but obviously when you meet them, it's like, dear. but like Liza's the only reason she's got that White Whistle mentality. She's got like the inverse of the typical White Whistle mentality because all White Whistles are insane. But Liza has like the optimist insanity where like she will have a go at anything regardless of whether or not she can actually accomplish it, and that's the
Okay.
She hasn't got that kind of like scientific or like moral or like you know or any other justification that other people use. Like she hasn't got like you know the like the teaching element that Ozen uses or like Bondrewd stuff later on, which I can't talk about. But Liza's only justification is I want to go to the bottom of the abyss and I'm going to do it. Like that's the reason why she qualifies to be a White Whistle. That's where the insanity comes from. Like she sees everyone else sees these walls and issues, and Liza's like, they're not there. I'm gonna go down anyway, and which is I think where Rico gets that thing from.
Okay.
I was gonna say that's an interesting like connection to make because then that kind of makes Rico less of a bad character if this is like a character trait that she takes after her mom.
I think she wants to take after her mother because it's all she's got to hold on to. Like she's in the orphanage, and this whole time she's being told like, "Hey, your mum's great. Like she's not here right now, and you can't see her, and she literally left you behind to go and do her job." But like she's a hero, and like, she hears that all the time, and yet she's this weak child with like glasses and bad eyesight. That's the one thing she's gonna hold on to. She's like, okay, but at least I have this like this figure in my life that is like this person I can look up to and eventually become.
No, that's solid. again, when we're talking about just in the confines of season one, I know my opinions are going to change, right? It's the One Piece effect. As you rewatch the show or as the show develops later on, earlier events are going to have completely different meanings and weight. But what we've been given now, obviously, I'm very anti-Rico, but that's almost for her safety, for her sake. Now, if Rico goes on to become the best character ever, and she's got that spirit of adventure, right? I can do anything, Mugiwara no Luffy style. Right? It sounds like that's what Liza's got going for her, right? Like,
Yeah, she does feel like a Luffy. I mean, if you probably saw those few scenes she had in season one, like especially the flashbacks with those, and she definitely feels like
yeah,
Luffy interacting with a serious character at any point in One Piece.
right.
It's just like Luffy brain versus normal brain.
Versus normal brain. No, I was thinking about that when it was showing like Ozen and Liza's development, how Liza comes out of nowhere and it's basically like, yeah, you're gonna train me. And Ozen's like, why the fuck would I do that? And Liza's essentially like, because I want to go to the bottom of the abyss. And it's like,
Exactly.
all right, I guess we're doing this now. But then later you get to see those other Luffy elements when apparently Ozen got fucking dogged on by somebody or like snuck, and Liza's like, okay, I gotta annihilate them. I gotta fuck them up. That's my Nakama. You hit my crewmate. Let's do it. And that's how she got her nickname. So very Luffy coded. Those characters are awesome. It's really weird if we're comparing to Luffy though, and like Rico, having seen when Luffy was younger and seeing like how solid he was. There's a scene where they're trying to catch Ace and Sabo. There's these like bandits, and they end up catching Luffy, and they're beating him. Like, they have him tied up and they're beating the shit out of him, trying to get the location of their hideout. And Ace and Sabo are going to leave Luffy behind. Entirely just got to give up on him. But then he doesn't rat. Like, he eats that shit. They start beating him with spike gloves. Luffy's like, nah, I'm not telling. And like that element of like tenaciousness for my friends, I feel like Rico didn't necessarily have the time to show that. Because when she would have had the moment to like stand up for Reg against the split jaw, even if she got injured, even if, you know, she still had to be rescued, he came to her rescue just before she could kind of show that tenacity. So that's where, again, I still can't see it in Rico, but Liza is a pretty interesting backdrop. And so hopefully she develops into more of a Luffy as the series goes on.
King of the Cave Divers.
You said what?
She's gonna be King of the Cave Divers.
King of the Cave. And she's gonna be the only one to come back from the abyss.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Cool. Do you have anything else on Made in Abyss, Ven?
No, I'm excited to watch the next, or I guess the movie now.
Yeah, we'll definitely check out the movie.
So, yeah.
Okay, sick. What about you?
For more trauma, like a bit of trauma in the film, all exciting times.
And dude, I can't wait. I cannot like Mitty. Oh, I guess we didn't really talk about Mitty.
Oh my god, Mitty's death scene actually makes me cry every single
Oh
time. I watch
yeah.
it. I can't. It's just, oh my god. Like, we only know her for like 2 episodes, and it's just so well, like, this the whole way it's done is just so.
It's super nice because I don't know if you felt this way, Venice, but as Mitty was like sitting on top of Rico's passed out body, like drooling all over her face, and we first see Reg about to like yell at her, and then Nanachi's like, bro, she's fine. I imagined if Venice was in that situation, like if she woke up and Mitty was on top of her, how she would be like, oh god, ew, like just freaking out. And for me, I found that shit hilarious. But, you know, I felt like an asshole when I later found out what happened to Mitty. And I'm like, damn, I really let my snap judgments that Venice conditioned me to have betray Mitty's humanity. Like, you know what? Drool all over her. You put her whole head in your mouth if you want. You deserve it.
Okay, well, to be fair, I did not guess that she used to be a kid. Like, I thought she was just like a creature down that got messed up somehow, some way. I never thought that like she's an actual kid and she had a relationship with her and all this. So when I saw her, I was like, oh my god, what is it?
Yeah, that was pretty funny. To Miku in the chat, Romeo, when the 9-year-old character lacks development, she was born yesterday. I'm actually not making the argument that Rico lacks development. I'm making the argument that Rico's starting point is annoying. And it's not an irredeemable thing for a character. If you're going to develop them, you have to develop them from where you start them, right? So there's some characters where it's a little bit easier to root for them or identify with them, like Luffy when you first meet him. I would say a character, again, one of my favorites. If we're just gonna talk about the big three, I was always a Bleach fan first. I loved Ichigo. He came across as like a normal kid who's a delinquent, not by nature, but because of the situation, right? You really identify with him, you root for him. And Rico is lacking a lot of like the main character's starter energy. Unless you agree with her task or her journey from the beginning, there's not a lot to like, I don't know, there's not a lot to latch onto. Like I'm not the kind of person who's like, oh, you're a child and you want things, you should have them, you should pursue your dreams. Like, nah, bitch, I read Berserk, I live in the real world, okay? Your shit could get cracked out here. So Rico's starting point is more concerning than it is inspiring, which is why it's going to take quite a bit of effort to redeem that character. Now, if they do it, it could be one of the greatest payoffs, period. But I have no indication to believe that that payoff is coming based off of what I've seen in the show. And for better or worse, we'll see how that goes. You have any comments on that, Fuja?
To see, Remy, I can't tell you what's gonna happen in the next part. You know, you have to watch it.
No. I just more so.
He's like biting his tongue.
Yeah.
I'm trying my best not to say anything.
He's
know what else is coming, so.
He's like, "I'll fucking show you." No, but
if I can say like anything about when characters will get development, I would say that the movie is very much a Rico focused thing.
Okay.
And season 2 is very much a Reg focused thing.
Okay, well that's cool.
Okay.
That is
with
cool
a bit
too.
of Nanachi in there too, but mostly Reg.
I mean, I would prefer mostly Nanachi, but I can take that.
Well, but like, the thing about Nanachi is that like she had most of the second half of season 1, so she's already got like she's had the real estate, you know.
Which lends itself to my issue.
And she does have some. She has more in season 2, but I think they realize by season 2 that because Reg's been like a mystery for so long, it's nice to get like bits of his actual backstory in there for once.
Okay.
So we actually learn more about Reg's past in season 2.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I do think it is weird to have your two main characters get less development than the character introduced in like the last 5 episodes of season 2.
I did find it weird, but I think it makes sense because obviously the show plans them to be like long-term characters. Like obviously you've got Rico's mum being an enigma, we've got Reg being an enigma. Like they're both connected to endgame plot points.
Okay.
So you can't give away too much early on, I guess.
And that's fair. That's why I'm leaving it open for development. More so what I was asking about was like your thought on character development philosophy. Like if we're saying that, my claim is that like there's different starting points. If you're gonna start with a character that's irredeemable, right, like a fucking bastard, like a Vegeta, for example, and you plan on, you know, redeeming them over time, that's a little bit harder than starting off with, you know, a lovable idiot like a Goku and developing him over time. And I feel like Rico's in a category where her start is not the strongest for an MC, but that doesn't necessarily mean that her end won't be. So, do you have any comments on that?
The thing about character development is it depends on what position your character's in when you start the story.
Yeah, exactly.
Because obviously it depends on when you meet them. And when we meet Rico, she doesn't know who she is. Like it's not like it's again. I guess we can compare the whole like the Goku thing again. Well, like at the beginning of Dragon Ball, Goku doesn't know who he is, and when we get to Dragon Ball Z, Goku finds out who he is and then has to deal with that. Rico, she knows who her mum is, but she doesn't know who she is. Is the thing, and a lot of her character a lot of her character development isn't forward motion. It's like catching up with herself. Development.
Yeah, it's just a lot of deficiencies.
That's why it feels like it doesn't really go forward, because it doesn't. Like Rico's realizing what position she is in currently because she hasn't had that realization yet. It's only when we get beyond season 1 that Rico really starts moving forward, because she finally recognizes where she is in the moment. And I think that's why I defend the whole like Reg being knocked out and Rico having to survive part. Is it's the first time where Rico's really realized, okay, this is the position I'm in, because she's had the Reg safety blanket for like the whole of the first 2 layers, and she like you can tell the whole time she's just like hanging on to Reg like Spider-Manning around. And it's like even though she's had this decision in her mind, like yes, I'm going to go to the bottom of the abyss, that doesn't mean anything to her. She's got this letter. And this idea of like the bottom of the abyss in air quotes is so nebulous. She doesn't know what it means, and she's never really been in the abyss beyond the first layer. her story in season 1 is about her realizing what it means to have made that decision, basically. And it's only when you get to the end of season 1 that she's really processed that, and then she's finally realizing what she then needs to do next, now that she understands what it means to have made a decision.
Okay. I don't think I disagree with you and Miku on your synopsis of Rico. And more so where the disagreement comes in is like what the experience of that is like. I think you both kind of either relate to Rico or like want to see Rico do well. And I do not inherently, because her doing well is connected to the Abyss more than it even is connected to her mother. Like she always wanted to go down to the Abyss even before she gets that call to action. And so it doesn't really feel like her journey is like a journey of self-discovery to me, in the same way that it seems more like a passion project. Like, okay, Venice, you can tell me if you identify with this. All right. But as a POC relationship, there are times when we will come together and be like, okay, this thing that we're talking about is some white people shit. And an example is like somebody who's doing like mountain climbing, like climbing Everest, and then they have like a like a malfunction in their equipment and die. From, you know, the humble POC perspective of I can't even afford to move out of this town, the first question is, what the fuck were you doing on Everest? Like, you have all of this money, all of this time, and you chose to go to the most likely place that you would come to your end. Like, yeah, of course that was likely to happen to you.
Well, the funny thing about that, Romeo, is that like they literally touched upon that in season 2, where like why do people go into the Abyss if they know it's dangerous, if they know it's like full of creatures that can kill you and a curse that can kill you and like everything that can kill you, what motivates people to do that? And it basically like, the whole thing is just like discussing different people's answers to that question. Basically,
they talked about it in season 1, and it has to do with like this lofty idea about longing, that like the longing of either adventure or like knowledge or understanding what the Abyss has to offer, discovery, that feeling is more powerful than like the threat of danger or self-preservation.
The thing about that answer is that like that's one of a number of different things they mention in the series. Like,
well, okay, I'm just talking about season 1.
No, yeah, I know, but I'm saying like that point is elaborated on. Like they start with the whole like they start with it as being like like people just feel an inherent need, like, you know, like it's literally like filling the void that is itself the Abyss, you know. But then later on it's like, but then, you know, does everyone share that same approach? No, it's different depending on the person.
But to begin with, if the premise is that like this sense of longing or like a sense of adventure or like a strong desire to motivate you to pursue this dangerous thing is what we're using as like the central point to, again, have the audience relate, I'm just saying I can't relate. I've had dreams or things I've pursued in my life. I've done quite a few things, but the idea of making a sacrifice is a very selfish thing, right? Even if you're taking that risk, I can't say that I want somebody to do well just because they're risky. I more so identify with like, I don't know, like the motivation for that dream. And it seems like right now there is this like nebulous motivation, like it exists, it's there, but it's not connected to anything tangible that we can see. So it's tough for me. But what are your thoughts on that, Venice?
Yeah, I agree. I think Rico is like pretty headstrong and stubborn, and I feel like especially like knowing that she's a kid and then like considering what I was told when I was a kid, like to not put yourself into dangerous situations, even though you may like aspire to be able to do that one day, like you're gonna have to wait until you have the skills and all this mumbo jumbo, and like for her to be like, oh, it's because my mom is there and that's why I have to go, but then she's still like a red wisp still trying to figure out how to go deeper into the Abyss without taking major damage. Like I feel like it's a bit silly for me, and then that combined with the lack of like training and all this stuff, like I agree that she seems a bit too headstrong, and I can't relate with that.
But again, just to iterate, this is not saying that Rico is not going to be the GOAT by season 2, by the movie. It's just more so like from the inception. That's why I said watching Made in Abyss season 1, for me, I was just filled with concern. Every episode, I was terrified. I'm like, we're going to see this little girl get ripped to pieces. She got picked up by the corpse weaver, saving Reg, which was awesome. She saved Reg, but then that means that she dies instead of Reg, unless he hits this MLG trick shot with his incinerator that could also cook her.
Right. And then when she almost lost her arm, I was like, oh God, like you guys need to maybe
slow your roll. Yeah, please. Okay, you don't have that many arms to sacrifice. All right, the next time it's gonna be paraplegic or quadriplegic. Like, please, Rico, chill. So maybe that's the intended effect for the audience, to like fill you with dread, to make you uncomfortable, and it succeeded at that. I'm excited to get to season 2. I am a bit spoiled when we're talking about like child characters who are taking on these big roles, right? Like a Gon who is naturally very talented, very strong, who can, dust any adult that he wants who's not Hisoka, right? Like that's more so my speed for like who would be ready to take that on. Like, yeah, you're not ready, but you at least have a foundation for being ready. We also don't really get to know much about the Abyss as like a concept and what Rico does and does not know. But I do want to give her full props because apparently she be busting it down. Like, Shawty can cook. All right, she had me. This is one of those times where I was like, anime food needs to be real because I want to try all that shit she was cooking down there. But it's not Food Wars. This is Abyss Wars.
I find it really funny that Nanachi just can't cook.
Yeah, Nanachi not being able to cook, that was one of my favorite bits. And then Reg also not being able to cook. I was like,
it really makes sense because he's just a robot, Like,
yeah,
he's to cook.
Yeah. But it was like the only time in the series they had the entire time where I'm like, oh my God, get Rico off screen, get Rico off screen, get Rico off screen. And then these two are trying to make food, and I'm like, fine, bring her back. So that was funny. There is some character development to go on. But I'm excited. I think that aesthetically, the show has one of the best starts. Like, it's the Attack on Titan of style, if that makes sense. But I need
I've never
more.
heard anyone say that before, but
You've never heard anybody say that? Like, Attack on Titan had such a good start.
That's a new no, it does, but like that's a new sentence. But the Attack on Titan of style is really interesting.
So overall, great recommendation. We'll keep following it and then let you know what we think. Basically, Rico on some white people shit trying to get to the bottom of the Abyss. Actually, this is a very factual take. Yeah, I don't think that it's crazy. Like, my criticisms are not based in any like mean spirit. I'm just saying, like, that's what the story is. Rico wants to climb Mount Everest. She's got 0 climbing gear. She found a guy who can climb and she can hold on to him, but he's got slippery fingers and he's also scared of the sound of the ice cracking.
She got a letter from her mum on the top of Mount Everest saying, "Come to the top of Mount Everest." It's just like, it does help.
Yeah, it helps until you realize, like, mom's not gonna help you. Mom will be at the top of Mount Everest hearing your cries echo 2 days later after you fall and split your shit on the ground. Mom didn't say, "I cleared a way for you to come to Mount Everest."
Well, the worst part is we don't even know if it's her that sent the message.
Yeah, exactly.
It's her handwriting.
Exactly. That's why. And when they said that shit, I was even more undone. I'm like, Rico is going to kill herself for something that might be a skinwalker waiting at the bottom. Like, it's giving Until Dawn. All right, she's hearing the mom's voice crying from the cellar. She's about to open it. Ashley, no, don't go in there, Ashley, please. So I'm very uncomfortable. It's in a good way though, especially after the Midi Nanachi. I realized that this mangaka, this storyteller, they know what they're doing. They know how to write good shit. So I'll trust them. But God, the payoff better be great. And that's a wrap. All right, sick. Made in Abyss was very cool. Thanks for the recommendation. I think we still want to cover. Did you want to talk about Vinland Saga in this episode, Venice, or did you want to save it for another one after you've caught up with season 2?
Probably once I'm caught up with it. I only have a little bit left to go.
Okay, then yeah, 2 weeks. We'll go ahead and hit Vinland Saga. So here's an activity that I thought we could do. I have a list of like fictional or the anime characters, and
Yeah.
I was thinking we could each rank them according to like how good we think the characters are.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, do you all have like a notepad or pen and paper or anything like that?
I'm gonna crack open the notes app.
Yeah, let me go ahead and pull one up for myself. So I'm gonna give you like different lists. I'll give you 5 characters at a time, and you have to rank them in order.
Okay.
Okay. So the
Yeah,
first.
I'm ready.
Now, Ven, you actually may not have seen some of these characters, so I think you'll have to go based off of what you know about them. But we'll start with the easy ones. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So first 5 characters we have Mr. Tanjiro from Demon Slayer, Kamado himself. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Next character we're gonna have is Mr. Dio Brando.
Very interesting 2
Oh.
characters next to each other there.
After that, we have Sir Satoru Gojo.
Oh, okay.
All right. We are going to have Roronoa Zoro next.
What is this list, man?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, isn't it? And then finally, we have L from Death Note.
Okay, well, I know who number 1's going to be already.
All right, so can I suggest one? Oh, we will do Killua. We're going to do a couple of them. I left Killua going off, but you got to rank these 5 characters.
Okay. Well, okay.
So here, take a moment, because I'm gonna try to think about this. Let's try to.
Wait, I don't know who Dio is.
You don't know who
Is
Dio?
he in the-
No, Dio's from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
I know, but is he from the season I watched?
Yeah, he's the yellow hair. Like he's in the first season. He's the vampire guy. The main villain of JoJo's is Dio.
Dang, I haven't watched those.
You watched the first 3 seasons. Dio's in all of them.
How do you forget about Dio? What the hell?
That's-
That was a long time ago. Oh.
All right,
They
well,
say Dio's name like 3 times every episode.
it's wild. Everything that happens in JoJo's is because of. It's basically Dio's Bizarre Adventure with the JoJo
Basically,
backdrop.
yeah.
Okay, I'll figure it
It's
out.
a waffle.
Oh my goodness.
I'm really struggling with like the 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like 1 is an easy pick, but like what the hell do I do for the rest? Okay.
You don't know Dio. I'm crashing out.
More like D-Who Brando, am I right?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh my god.
Miku is on that Dio level of chaotic. Honestly, when we talk about like haters in anime, Miku's on that level. It's tough. Oh, it's tough.
This is really. I'm struggling with who to put in last place right now. Is the hardest part.
This is actually really. I kind of cooked with this list.
Okay, I'm gonna share last place and then see how I feel when we talk about it.
Okay, all right. Damn. So 2 people are racing to the bottom.
Well, because it's like I can't in my mind decide who is worse of the 2.
If
It's
it's
like they like I dislike them for the same reason, but for different versions of the same reason.
all right, do we have our list?
Like, yeah, my list is ready.
Okay, should we go top to bottom or bottom to top? What do you think?
I think we should go top to bottom because bottom's going to be the most.
Okay,
juiciest,
all right.
so I
All right.
think
For this one, we'll definitely do top to bottom. Let's have Venice go first each time, and then we'll follow her up.
Okay.
Damn, okay. Put me on the spot. My first character is L.
Oh, really? Okay. I
Yeah.
also have L.
Oh wow, I also have L. What a
Okay.
surprise!
Damn. I was actually expecting there to be at least some variance on that. All right. Who do you have for number?
L is peak.
L is peak. L is peak. Sick. All right. Who do we have for number
L
2?
more like W.
All right.
I got Zoro.
You got Zoro for number 2?
I do.
Okay. What about you, Fujin?
I put Dio for number 2.
I put Dio for number 2. Okay. So let's do number 3, and then if we have them swapped, we'll talk about it. Or we won't have to talk about it.
I have a feeling we do. I have a feeling we have them the other way around.
I do have Dio is third.
Dio is 3. Okay, I have Zoro for 3.
I am sorry for 3 as well.
Okay, I think that's fair. Dio and Zoro. It's a weird comparison, but I feel like in their
It's a
respective
really weird comparison.
in their respective stories, they're both pretty similar in how, I don't know, valuable they are, how much they offer. But I think that Dio is a little deeper than Zoro in many ways.
Yeah, the main issue I have with Zoro is like he's one of the main Straw Hats that doesn't get that much background. Like
Mhm.
he's kind of like we get the sword training bit very early on
Yeah.
in the story about like his motivation, and then that's kind of it. Like we don't really hear anything else about Zoro apart from he's a pirate hunter, and he's like but I feel like he's the go-to, like either he's the aura farming character or he's like the funny character. Like he doesn't really get too many opportunities to do like a serious thing. Like he didn't get a whole cake like Sanji did. Like he didn't get like a whole like here's the funny character, but when you strip that away, what have you got left? Like Zoro's not had that yet in the story, really, in my opinion.
So Venice, I'll let you comment because I'm assuming you have thoughts, but I heavily disagree with you on that, Fujin. Go ahead.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys don't understand. Like his personality is that he can't figure out the direction.
God
Bro.
damn it. God
so
damn it.
Hear me out. Hear me out. You can't figure out where he's going, right? That's why he follows Luffy, because Luffy has a clear plan. Luffy knows he always knows what he wants to do.
Luffy does not have a clear plan, I'm sorry. Luffy has negative clear plan.
It's right here. It's so.
Luffy wanders around getting lost, and Zoro follows him also getting lost, and that's how the story happens.
Luffy's plan is to have enough people with him while he gets lost that somebody will find the way.
Exactly. No, it's mostly Nami and Robin finding the actual way they're supposed to be going.
Let's go. Justice for my queens.
No, but in all honesty, like I do think that when he stood up to Kuma on Thriller Bark and he took the pain for the rest of the crew and then didn't say a word, like I don't think anybody knows.
Except for Sanji.
Aside from Sanji, and he took it like a boss. And I feel like that was kind of part of his character and what he stands for in the group. Like he is truly a ride or die.
So I think that's a good argument. I think there's 2 major moments that are being forgotten that are way more important to Zoro's character. But the first one being that Luffy and Zoro were kind of together from the beginning by circumstance. Like Luffy saves Zoro's life. He agrees to go with him because he's like, I'm not doing anything else. And if you get in the way of me being the world's greatest swordsman, then I'll cut you down. But when Zoro loses to Mihawk and then vows to never lose a fight and says like, is that okay, Captain? We see from that point forward, he's willing to put his dream on the line multiple times for Luffy. And I think like that moment of having the opportunity to go for his dream and then deciding to still acknowledge Luffy as captain afterwards lends into what you're talking about, Venice. But the biggest character development or like character showing for Zoro was in Water 7 when Usopp and Luffy had their fight and Usopp wanted to come back. And Zoro said, anybody that's out here disrespecting the captain, if the first thing he says is not, I'm sorry, we're leaving that bitch behind. And he like put his foot down. It's really interesting as you like put it all together that like Zoro has put his dream on the line for Luffy. And because we've seen that, right? Because he embodies that, to see Usopp not carry the same weight, who he was really willing to put the crew on the line for the Mary, like I think that really illustrates how he, I don't know, exemplifies his sense of honor and how important that is to him as a character. And so this like big brother dynamic he has with Luffy, Usopp, and Chopper, that's a huge one, is really what Zoro's character is about. But on the other hand, when we're looking at Dio, right? Dio is much more substantial in that he's a product of his material conditions, who became like this dirtbag out of necessity. And instead of being honor bound to any sort of way, he's just trying to get it out the mud the best that he can. And through his shenanigans and trying to evolve himself constantly creates the circumstances for all of JoJo's to happen. So while Zoro is a very strong character and like very defined and consistent throughout the series, he doesn't really need any development because he's so well defined. I have to give it to Dio as being like a more impactful character in his given story.
Okay, period.
Yeah, like I have respect for Zoro as a character for being consistent and for having like a good personality and a clear personality. Like my one issue with Zoro is just like it's not an issue. Like again, I don't feel when I'm reading One Piece, I'm not like, damn, I wish there was a Zoro backstory arc. I mean, I do sometimes, but like not to the extent where I wish that there was an entire arc dedicated to it. But like in comparison to the rest of the Straw Hats, he kind of hasn't got that standing like they do.
Let's compare Zoro to what was it? Ben Beckman or Silver's Rayleigh. Obviously, One Piece is still ongoing. There's a lot of stuff that we haven't seen of like the old guard. But one of the common tropes in One Piece is that the first mate, even though Zoro's unofficial first mate, the first mate is like the most level-headed person in the crew and is like the person that people gather around when shit pops off, right? Generally speaking, Zoro does occupy that role, and him having like a whole cake moment where he either abandons the crew or is not able to be strong for them.
I'm not saying that he has to replicate that exact form of storytelling. I'm just saying it would be nice for there to be something. Basically, I'm not saying like there needs to be like a Zoro goes off and has his own arc, and then like becomes like his position is lowered temporarily, and then he returns back to form. He can still be the same level of consistent.
Okay.
But it would be nice if he just encountered a bit of the story that revealed more of his backstory, but that can be like stuff that has already happened in the past that we haven't seen before, that then retroactively add context to why he makes his decisions.
Okay, I think you could also achieve that by just Zoro ever having a struggle. I feel like while he does struggle, he hasn't really had a low point since the first half of the show, like since Kizaru, and that's the last time he had a low point. He gets close, but he's always able to clutch through. So that's fair.
He has to.
Yeah, because he has to.
He's a most reliable member of the crew for a reason, you know.
Yeah, it's like if Zoro doesn't, who will? So hopefully we do see that, right? Where Zoro's not able to do it, and like the rest of the crew has to pull their weight. I would love to see the weakling trio like come and save him, and not only save him so that he can solve the issue, but like save them and then take care of business. We've always been very close, but I think that would be great for Zoro's development and the others. So yeah, that's solid, Fujin. You're onto something.
Okay, well, listen, I didn't know who Dio was, so the fact that it was close.
Yeah, you
my props.
You somewhat cooked, but because you were given 3 fresh ingredients and then 2 rotten ones, so it was pretty easy not to keep Dio out of the 4 and 5 slot. I feel like. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Venice, who do you have at number 4?
Number 4. I have Gojo.
You have Gojo number 4. Okay. Fujin?
See, I couldn't decide whether or not I wanted Tanjiro or Gojo to be 4 or 5, and so I'm just going to discuss them like both, because obviously we both have Tanjiro and Gojo as our 4 and 5.
All right, which one do you think I have in 4, Fujin? Let's start there.
I mean, given for your dislike towards Jujutsu Kaisen, I imagine Tanjiro is probably your number 4.
Gojo is my number 4. Okay. Yes. So
surprising.
It's funny. Miku said, if you're a real one, Fujin, you'll put Tanjiro at 5. I had already thrown him at 5.
So the thing is, I was leaning towards putting Gojo higher than Tanjiro, but there's one specific thing about him that there's 2 specific things about him that I don't like that made it a point of contention.
Go ahead, lead us off. You definitely got this one, because I think Venice and I will be able to talk through our thoughts. We're kind of defined, but
Gojo's character as a whole, like as a whole entity, is more interesting than Tanjiro. Like if I were just looking at him as like a holistic thing, like a story element, like that is Gojo, then I'd be like, yeah, he does more interesting stuff for the story than Tanjiro does. Like Tanjiro's whole thing, he's the quintessential shonen protagonist. He is like, I have personal motivation to kill X enemy. I am going to do it, and then he does it. Like that is his plot role. Is that I don't know. He's my least favorite part of Demon Slayer, just because he's the most predictable part of Demon Slayer. Like you know what Tanjiro is going to do, and you know that he's going to do it because the story necessitates it. There are certain moments where I think his character does shine through, like in the bit. Wait, can I talk about spoilers for Demon Slayer? I imagine you guys have caught up, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, anime or manga?
Anime.
Yeah. We actually just saw the movie like 2 days ago.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, you did mention that, of course. So the bit with after the Akaza fight where he throws his sword
Mhm.
through Akaza while he's running away. That is like one of the best examples of Tanjiro having an actual personality. And I just wish there was more of that in the story rather than just like Tanjiro does Tanjiro things again. And I guess like that's supposed to be his point, is that he is supposed to be reliably the same kind of character. Like he is always expected to do the thing. He's literally like, do the thing, Tanjiro, and then he does the thing, and then it's like, hooray!
Do the thing, Bart, or say the line, Bart.
Exactly. And he's got that very sort of like, if he knows that he can become more powerful, he will push to obtain that power. Like, you know, it's very much just like he is the smelted down and reforged shonen protagonist. Like that is what he does.
Yeah, I think calling Tanjiro.
Oh, sorry, you go.
No, I think calling Tanjiro like Baby's first big three protagonist is fair. It's like it's the new age or new gen version of My First Anime, and I think it shows. He's very like unassuming. He's very normal. People who aren't really used to seeing depth or just having disagreements with their main character can really get behind Tanjiro. Like, he's gonna do the thing that you want him to do. And sitting on the edge of your seat as like a new anime fan, being like, yes, please, please, oh please, Tanjiro, smell him, he's behind you. Like, that's got to be an exhilarating experience. If you haven't watched anime before. So yeah, I'm with you.
So I think the contrast there with what makes Gojo like as a whole more interesting is that Gojo exists to imbalance the consistency of the story rather than balance it.
Okay.
Like he is, most of his story stuff is like main characters want to do this or villains want to do this, and Gojo's whole thing is no, and then he comes into the story and that doesn't happen.
Let me pause you really quick. I want to give Venice's thoughts because I have the next list up, and I feel like before we talk about Gojo, I want to do the next list. Just to give you a sneak preview.
Okay.
Sung Jin-woo and Gojo are both on the next list.
Oh no! Yeah. Why is Gojo on two lists? Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah, Sung Jin-woo and Gojo are on the next list. So
okay, who am I gonna put lower?
So I think that'll be a good opportunity for us to talk about Gojo more in depth. But before we continue, I also want to get your thoughts on Tanjiro and Gojo as well, Venice. But feel free to save some Gojo smoke for the next list.
I mean, it's pretty much what Fushin said. I think Tanjiro is like, yeah, he's pretty predictable. I enjoy watching him, but compared to Gojo, like, he doesn't have as much depth to him. And especially like when you consider the other characters of Demon Slayer too, like there's just so many like Zenitsu, even though
okay, look, I know we gotta leave Zenitsu on the back burner because no spoilers.
No, he's not my favorite.
That's my goat from day one.
Like, he has more personality when he cries and whines and stuff than Tanjiro, who's just always like
they're crying baby.
Like and also like the thing with Tanjiro is he manages to like figure things out pretty like seamlessly. Like for me, he doesn't really struggle as much as other characters, and I think struggle is an important thing to consider when like you evaluate a character, because like that's the whole point in their story, like whole arc, right? So yeah.
I want to zoom in on the struggle thing that you talked about, because there is a difference between like struggling in the plot versus struggling as a character. Tanjiro has never had any like moral struggles. Yes, sometimes he cries for the demons as he beheads them, but ultimately he's very confident that like beheading the demon is the thing he has to do, right? Even as Daki and Yutaro, he looked at their headless bodies as they were like arguing, and he was like, in a different timeline, this could have been me and Nezuko. But GG easy, we fucking won, like Demon Slayer's on top.
Yeah, like he never, okay, you're gonna hate me. He never like really goes into depth about the material of what makes a demon want to become a demon in the first place. Like even though like that's something that he like regularly sees with like normal humans, he never like goes to the extra step of like considering that that is also a struggle that demons make, and like it's valid.
Yeah.
He can sympathize with them, but then at the end of the day, he's like, hell yeah, where's Muzan? I'm gonna kill his ass.
So the reason I put Tanjiro at 5 is that Tanjiro is actually less of a character and he's more of a plot device. Tanjiro moves the story alone.
Although,
go ahead.
Sorry, just to interject.
No, please.
Tanjiro is more of a plot device, but Gojo is definitely still a plot device.
Okay, and this is interesting. We'll get into Gojo later, but I think that Gojo fulfills another role.
I'm scratching my skin right now. You let me say it.
Well, here, the theme of the next list. Let me go ahead and read it off. All right. The characters I chose for the next list are Gojo, Sung Jin-woo, Piccolo, Killua, and Eren. Does anybody know what the theme here is?
Is it like sidekick characters? No, because it can't be because Sung Jin-woo's the main character. That wouldn't make any sense.
Is it like anti? What is it? Anti-heroes? Is that what it is?
Nope. It's way more stupid.
Oh.
I don't know. I can't follow.
These characters are all aura farmers. That's we're doing the aura farming list. All right. To various degrees.
You say Piccolo is an aura farmer in a series full of aura farmers.
Well, the Piccolo is the aura farmer he is.
I don't know about that one.
He is the aura farmer, and that's not just me saying that. I don't know if you're up to date with like aura farming memes right now. Piccolo is the mascot of aura farming. All right, there's no competition. No competition.
I know. I feel like within Dragon Ball he has competition.
Give me one character that aura farms harder than Piccolo in Dragon Ball. If you say Vegeta, you're cooked.
Mr. Satan.
Damn, he might got me. All right, we're gonna have 6 characters on this list. We have Hercule Satan as the premier aura farm. No, this is actually a good one. Hercule is an interesting character. You may not have as much concept about him, Venice, but I think he has a lot more depth than people give him credit for. So I will throw him on the list as like an honorary 6th. He fits the theme, but it would be Hercule and Mr. Satan as the top 2 aura farmers in Dragon Ball. Interchangeable. That's the most I'll agree to.
So are we judging them based on their aura farming, or are we judging them based on?
No, we're judging.
Good character.
Well, yeah, we're just going over like what we think are good characters and ranking them, kind of getting a taste for our styles, discussing them. But the reason I chose aura farmers is that they usually serve like very specific roles in their respective series, right? Whether they're jobbers, they're meant to show like how strong the enemy is, or they're there to like also build up energy or comic relief. Like these all exist. Go ahead.
I'm gonna counter your choice of Eren there. Eren is not an aura farmer. Eren gets his ass beat all the time. Levi is an aura farmer.
I could put Levi there over Eren, but I actually feel like if we're talking about aura farming...
Have you seen the way that Levi kills Titans? He spins around like a Beyblade. That's the biggest aura farm you could ever do.
No. Aura farming is different than like just having aura, okay? So people that aura farm typically have like unnecessary movements or motions, right? They do things that they don't have to do.
I literally just described that. That Levi does not need to spin like a Beyblade when he kills a Titan.
It's a technique. Like, yes.
It's not a technique. He can just go over and stab them in the neck. He doesn't need to spin.
Didn't he do that to fucking Zeke or whatever? Like during that fight, he was debilitating him. He was cutting him down so that he couldn't move. It wasn't aura farming. He just has aura.
Yeah, but he does it all the time though. It's not even when it's not necessary.
Yeah, it's no different than like hitting somebody's elbow or kicking out their knees. Like Levi is aura, all right? He's not farming it. He has it already.
There's a weak point and he's attacking it in a way that's not. He's the unnecessary movement to attack it. Like I'm sorry, that is aura farming. Aura farms.
If you're saying that Levi is more of an aura farmer, especially than like time skip Eren, like Eren after the time skip is on different timing. Okay,
yes, time skip Eren I can agree to, but Levi is consistently an aura farmer.
That's what I'm saying. Levi just has aura. Eren after the time skip is farming it to catch up. That's my argument.
Yeah, true. He has to make up for the lack of aura farming.
He has to make up.
He's on a cart for the rest of season 4.
Because some people just have aura. They're just cool as shit. Other people are like specifically aura farmers. They will grab aura even when there's no aura to be had. Levi's not that kind of character. Like, he breaks out his apron and his maid outfit and he's cleaning the floors and shit, not worried about his aura. He doesn't have to farm shit, all right? He's leaking out of his ears. Somehow he's making him drip while he is in the bunny suit, I guess. So Levi, not an aura farmer, if you ask me. But anyway, just the last thing. You know what? Fuck it. Let's move away. We already got Tanjiro and Gojo settled out. You all ready to do this list?
Wait, you're gonna have to remind me who the
Yeah, I got you. Let's do this because I think it's gonna go quick, but I do think there's some interesting stuff here. So first character we have is Satoru Gojo coming back. Then we got Sung Jin Woo from Solo Leveling. We have my man Piccolo, the baddest woodwind instrument.
What if I don't really know Piccolo?
Yeah, you're just gonna rank them regardless. It's all good.
Oh, okay.
And then after that, we have Killua.
Yeah, well, I know he's number 1 already. That was an easy decision.
Okay. Number 5, we have Eren Yeager, Izabaka.
Oh no!
And
don't bring that back. Don't bring that back.
And finally, we have Hercule, aka Mr. Satan, as our honorary 6th. So go ahead and rank them all, kiddies.
Who's Mr. Satan?
Hercule, he's the world champion with Afro in Dragon Ball.
Okay.
Okay, I'm done. That was an easy list.
Yeah, I think this one's gonna be an easy list, but I think it'll say. Oh, go ahead.
Mr. Satan is just gonna be with Piccolo, like they're just as a unit.
Oh, a unit as characters? You think they're equally good characters?
Well, in this list, yes.
Okay.
I have no reason to place them any higher or lower than anyone else.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So Venice, you'll start us off as usual. Let's this time let's go through the entire list and then we'll talk about it.
Oh, okay. Okay, number 1, I have Killua.
Okay. Easy. Yep. Killua for me. I'm assuming Killua for you, Fujin.
Yeah, Killua was my number 1 as well.
Okay,
No
perfect.
surprise there.
Easy.
Alright. Number 2, I have Eren.
Okay. I actually have
Any disagreements there, Remy?
I have Piccolo for my number 2 over Eren. Easy.
Okay. Eren was my number 2 as well, actually.
Oh, great. I had Piccolo number 3.
I have Piccolo number 3 as well.
I have Hercule number 3.
Then I have Hercule number 4.
Well, Piccolo and Hercule are both number 3 for me, so like I guess he's technically number 4.
Oh, okay. Okay, and then I have Eren as my number 4.
Okay,
Oh,
Gojo's
really?
number 4.
Yep.
Yeah, Gojo is my number 4 too.
Gojo's your number 4?
No, sorry,
No, it's my number 5.
Gojo's my number 5.
Okay, yeah, Gojo's my number 5, and so Sung Jin Woo is at the bottom.
Yes.
Okay.
Where he belongs.
Perfect. So the reason why I put this list together is obviously you were having the question of like Gojo versus Tanjiro, and Sung Jin Woo and Tanjiro actually have a little bit more in common when we look at them as like plot devices. I think.
Yeah, but Tanjiro's better than Jin Woo though.
So maybe.
Maybe.
Here's the thing.
That's my take.
I think if you compare Gojo to Sung Jin Woo, who is more comparable to Tanjiro, it becomes a less weird conversation. So Fujin, when you're like, I'm struggling to figure out like which one is worse. Having
the thing.
Go ahead.
The thing I have is that like Sung Jin Woo is more similar to Gojo because Tanjiro is like, how do I describe it? Like, so Tanjiro and Sung Jin Woo's approach to the story is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Sung Jin Woo and Gojo's power is more similar than Tanjiro and Gojo.
Well, like I would say their role in the story is also more similar. Like Gojo,
that's true.
It's like a. Sorry, let me clarify. I'm saying that Sung Jin Woo is like a midpoint between Gojo and Tanjiro. Yeah. So the reason I selected him is that like those two are obviously very different in their presentation. They have similar issues, but if you're using Sung Jin Woo as a basis, you can kind of talk about why you dislike Tanjiro and Gojo for their similar reasons, because Sung Jin Woo is like both in one character. He's obviously the worst of the three. I don't think any of us disagree, right?
No.
So, but using him as a device, I think you can have that conversation a little more effectively. But let me know what your thoughts are.
I mean, okay, like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of a way of describing this. They both primarily have an issue, like Sung Jin Woo and Gojo both suffer from the same issue, which makes me like certain parts of Gojo, and it makes me dislike certain parts of Gojo. It makes me dislike all of Sung Jin Woo. Is it like they have this thing where like they are just the most powerful entity in their universe already? Like they just exist as that. Like there's no like, it's not earned. There's not like sort of like a thing that happens to make it happen, or it's not like there's not like a series of plot events. It's just like Gojo is the most powerful, and Sung Jin Woo is, well, again, they always try and make it like, oh, Sung Jin Woo is not actually the most powerful, but then he ends up being the most powerful. It's like, okay, we all knew, it's in the name of the show. He's the only one that levels up. It should be pretty obvious.
Yeah.
So yeah, like they have this issue where it's like any fight they're in isn't actually like, again, Gojo's an exception to this because obviously he does lose a fight. Spoilers, I know.
Like, shudder. Sorry, God, you're making me sick to my stomach thinking about it.
I know, but like it's just the issue I have with Gojo is that like he by dint of existing, like he solves plot points which should be solved by characters that need to have development. Like they have, he's basically a crutch. Like Gojo is a crutch, which is why. Can I say JJK manga spoilers here? Is it okay?
What are your thoughts, Venice?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, yeah. Please spoil the rotten manga.
Okay, so as you may or may not know, in the last arc, Yuto brings back Gojo as a body puppet.
Yep.
Because the story is so afraid to make anyone, by their own merit and by their own attempt. No, dying isn't even the issue. Having any other character become powerful by their own merit or own efforts, more powerful than Gojo. Gojo has to be brought back for him to even stand a chance against the main villain, which is stupid. Gojo's death, the whole point of Gojo's death should have been, oh no, we were relying too much on Gojo, and he brought imbalance to the world because he was so powerful. Now we have to actually do stuff to make up for it. The solution was not let's bring Gojo back, because that defeats the whole purpose.
There's a lot of solutions that could have worked before that. The thing for Gojo, Tanjiro, and Sung Jin Woo that I want to point out, they are all characters that kind of defeat the tension that you could build in a scene. I feel like Tanjiro's the main character. We know he's going to be okay. And it works for him more than other main characters, because even though he might get stabbed through the throat, or even though like the animation and the choreography are really good and can like suck you in, and you're like, oh my god, that hit's gonna hit him, I'm gonna, like, once that's over though, you're just watching a cool fight scene. There's never any tension or any like lasting impact that Tanjiro has to take. He's able to save his demon sister, he's able to take all of these mortal wounds and somehow survive, he's able to fight beyond his limits for time and time again. And because of that lack of tension, because of that lack of consequence, Tanjiro takes the tension out. Gojo, on the other hand, he takes the tension out because he's so powerful, he's dicking on everybody. It's like watching a toddler stomping ants, and he also has the personality of a toddler, so he takes the tension away. Sung Jin Woo is like a combination of the two, where he is really powerful, but also he's the main character, and it's unabashedly certain that there will be no consequences for his actions. And so
they do this thing a lot where like Sung Jin Woo, like, obviously going to win the fight is like, it's seen as like a moral victory. It's like, oh, he's more powerful, therefore he's automatically right. And it's like, yeah, like there's so many, you can tell it's just like revenge fantasy stuff where like,
yep, revenge fantasy,
like,
thank you.
Now that Sung Jin Woo is powerful, he can now beat up the bad person, and that's his way of proving like his worldview, and it's like, this seems a bit reductive, but okay.
Yeah, it was cool one time, and the one time it was cool is when he first met oh my goodness, his brother, when they got like, they were gonna get sacrificed to the spider, and then he kills all those guys. Like, that was the one time that it worked in solo leveling. But like from that point on, he has to stand for something or mean something more than just like, if you're against me, I'll get the hidden quest to spill your guts all over the battlefield. Like, at that point, it's just, okay, you're not really much of a character other than like actually emulating a video game quest. You're just doing quest A, quest B until you get to the end. So, but yeah, comparing Gojo, Sungjin Woo, what they do, obviously in like an aura farming sense, Gojo's meant to make you curious about him. Not only were the people in JJK relying on him, but the show itself really did, right? Like, nobody's here to see what Megumi grows into. Nobody wants to hear Nobara's takes or watch Yuji basically get enslaved. Like, that's not what JJK is about. It's like, when are they gonna let Gojo, when are they gonna let Gojo beat Jogo into the ground?
Well, that's the thing. That's another issue I have with Gojo as a plot device, is that he removes so many opportunities for the main characters to actually, do things. Like, this is why he's one of the reasons. Well, not one of the reasons, because of Gege's fault for not writing Yuji to be a better character.
Yep.
But Yuji loses out on so many opportunities to do something interesting because Gojo's already there, and there's the three main characters in Jujutsu Kaisen. Yuji's just one, badly written and has no opportunity to develop.
Yep.
Two, Megumi just gets shafted and becomes a plot device for the whole second half of the story. And three, Nobara dies for half the story and then comes back at the very end, which is a waste of a character.
And she wasn't even developed enough. Like, who liked Nobara?
Exactly.
Who liked her enough to bring her back? Venice. You met her for like two minutes. All right. What was your impression of Nobara as a woman?
As a woman.
Bro, who's Nobara?
she's the girl in JJK.
Oh, her? Oh my god, I did not like her at all. I remember I didn't like her at all.
Yeah, I think
she was kind of lame.
Yeah, I think your whole thing was that she was just mean for the sake of being mean, and that was it. And she wasn't even that cool or strong. You didn't even like her power. I think you said specifically, like, you need to take that hammer to your head and get a better personality. It was a crazy. I'd never seen her react that negatively to a character off rip. She hated her guts.
Okay, I actually thought Nobara's ability was pretty cool in my.
I also thought it was.
We're comparing it to the other two main characters, which is Yuji's punch but slightly stronger, and Megumi's, which is like summon creature.
Yeah, Pokemon but weirder.
Yeah, literally, he's got like emo Pokemon, and then man that punches but hard. Like, her competition was pretty weak.
Yeah, but she was a bitch. So I don't care what her power is.
I kind of like. I like Nobara, what Nobara stood for, because like, if you haven't thought about this before, JJK is basically just it's clearly a very heavy allusion to Naruto. Like every part of the story borrows stuff from Naruto, like all the time. Like, the main characters are basically Team 7. Gojo is Kakashi. Gojo even has his own Kakashi backstory, like beat for beat, where his childhood friend becomes the main villain. Basically, it's just like Emo's first Naruto, But what I like about Nobara is that she's actually more interesting than Sakura.
1000% disagree. Holy shit, we might box on this one.
Okay, I mean for the point in the story where she's alive, because the main issue I have with Nobara dying is that she then can't be alive for the rest of the story to be better than Sakura. Like, as a completed character, Sakura is better because she is a completed character. Like, Nobara
I can see that argument.
Nobara was killed before she had the opportunity to be more interesting than Sakura, because she had the potential to be.
Here's my thing. I actually think that Sakura is a good character from the start, and she does something for the story that we really don't talk about enough. I know you're not Naruto caught up, and I think you said that you couldn't get into it, Venice, right?
Naruto caught up.
No, I couldn't.
Couldn't get into it. So I'm not going to linger on this super long, but Sakura as a character, when she's mean to Naruto or she's like all about Sasuke, she's representing two things. First off, she's representing Kishimoto's inability to write a female character who passes the Bechdel test.
Not like Gege's any better at that.
Yeah, not like he's any better than that, but like she does
to
not.
Be fair, I'll give him props for her name's not coming to right now. Maki, that's it.
Maki,
Yeah,
yes. Maki's actually dope.
Maki's the one good female character.
Between Naruto and JJK, the only good female. Well, nah, Naruto has like Tsunade. Okay.
Yeah, Naruto has some.
No, Naruto has some, but Sakura is like a poor example of a female character, but she's meant to like illustrate, I guess, the culture of the village. But on the second note, Sakura is really our only real look into how the village treats Naruto in like a personal sense. Like we don't really meet characters who mistreat Naruto. We just kind of generally know, like they whisper about him behind his back, and like she bullies him for being an orphan, generally because she's adopting the negative impression that everybody else has of Naruto. And I think that that in and of itself, given Naruto's like grand design, and now he comes back and earns the love of all of his village mates, using Sakura as like a metric for that, like how far Naruto is towards that goal, is like a super interesting way to watch the series. So from that perspective, if you can ignore like Sakura being like a love obsessed harlot half the time, and you just look at her as like, where's Naruto's ranking on the village's approval, she becomes a very interesting character. Whereas Nobara, she has no connection to any of the characters who are living, just like the fucking childhood friend who is also irrelevant in the story. And like her being alive wouldn't have changed much because she also gets sidelined, just like Yuji, right? Yuji, Megumi, and Nobara watch the story happen in front of them more often than not.
Well, the issue I have with Nobara is that like she had a really interesting potential to be the outsider character. Like she's being brought into this this like sorcery world where like there's all these families connected to each other, and like people have backgrounds that can like Megumi's part of it, and like all of the other people from the other school near the years are all connected to it. Like they all have this like this inherent like weight on them that connects them to the sorcery world. Whereas Nobara could have come in and been like, I don't have this connection,
right?
And she lives for herself. And they lean on that a bit in the like the school like competition arc where she's fighting against a witch girl who I always forget the name of because she's really boring. But like, and she had the potential to be like, you guys are worrying so much about this like whole like family lineage stuff. Like, why does that matter?
Let's just play the game, bro.
Exactly. But then they just don't do anything with that, and it's like, okay. And then they kill it, and it's like, why do you kill a character that's not developed? Don't kill the characters undeveloped, damn it.
Yeah. Now, I think that Nobara never did. Like, maybe she had potential. You can see it. I can see it. But I think that Sakura actually did represent something, whereas Nobara never did. Like, even from the beginning, that's why I would say she's a better character.
Sakura had time to represent that thing. Like, if you killed Sakura in Naruto at the same point in the story that you killed Nobara, she would be as bad as Nobara.
Would she be as bad as I don't know, because like, okay, if Sakura dies, she then becomes like an inciting action for Naruto, and like that never would have happened. Like even for Yuji, I would argue that Gordon Ramsay was a much bigger motivator than she was, right? Like she had to share that moment, even with that construction. If you kill Sakura at the same time, like Naruto's actually in love with her, right? Sasuke may have actually found out that he was in love with her. Maybe would have gotten that closed up sooner. I think there was way more layering done for Sakura's character to actually be important to somebody than Nobara's, hands down.
I think that's more of a failing of Yuji than anyone else, in the sense that like every single time you think someone's going to mean something to Yuji, they never do. It's like, oh no, my friend was killed. Oh no, I've forgotten about them again. Oh no, Nobara's dead. My teacher's dead. Gojo's dead. Oh well.
All right, let's get off of JJK. I don't necessarily dislike your interpretation of like Nobara's potential. I'm just a Sakura fan. I think there's lots to that character. I will defend her, but let's go ahead and look at some others on the list. So Killua glaze. Is it necessary? Do we need to glaze Killua? Either of you?
No, we do need to glaze Killua.
Okay, I'll let the two of you glaze Killua. I know it's like in this list. Maybe I should carry him over to another list so we can actually give him some competition, because it's such a sweep.
I mean, it depends on what kind of list you put him on, because he's going to be at the top of most of them.
Oh, you think I can't make a list where Killua was going to have some competition?
Yeah, okay, fair enough. You probably could. Like, because the thing is, like, I don't know. Killua is like the quintessential Lancer character. He's like, he's basically like, he is the Zoro, but he's like what Zoro could be. Mm-hmm. In the sense like you've got Gon, who's like the headstrong, hit first, think later character, and then you've got like Killua, who's like I'll do the thinking and do the aura farming, and like that's a dynamic that stands the test of time. Like you can think of so many different shonen shows that have that dynamic of airheaded yet capable main character, and then like his like foil who's like there to do the thinking and the grounding, but is equally powerful. And Killua is like the quintessential example of that. He's probably one of the best examples of that, because like there's so many times where like Killua doesn't become that role. He kind of earns it,
Mhm.
and that's why I like him a lot. Like, he becomes Gon's number two because he chooses to. He actively gives up on his own life. He comes to terms with who he is, and he understands that that position is something that he enjoys, and it's something that he's not even good at the beginning. Like, he's not good at being Gon's number two initially. He has to actively go through struggles and realize his own personality defects, and eventually, and even when he reaches the point where he is the best at doing that, which is probably like around, I don't know, like the end of York New Chimera Ant, where he's like, he is genuinely able to keep up with Gon and ground him consistently. He still can't always do it because he's not like, he's a very realistic version of like that character where like his problems, he can overcome his problems but he can never solve them, and he can help Gon overcome his problems but he can never solve them either. And that's why I think them having the mutual decision at the end of their arc is just like part ways, because it's like, hey, we've helped each other but like we're not attached to the hip, you know. And he eventually finds something of his own to value. Like, he kind of realizes that like he was using Gon as like a scapegoat, and when he eventually finds his own thing to move on to, he doesn't feel the need to be like, hey Gon, we got to stay together to the end. Like, you know, like he knew that there was a point that they reached.
Yes, that's super interesting. I've heard people have their own takes about like Killua and Gon parting ways, but this one's slightly, I think this is unique. I haven't heard that as like Killua finding himself or relying on Gon was the reason why he ended up going through this entire development, and it comes to a head with Nanika, or Aluka rather. What do you got to take, Venice? You want to glaze Killua?
Yeah, I mean, I love Killua, and I think that what you just said was really interesting because I love them together.
You were the one crying when he no, my babies.
But that definitely does make him like a wholer character. He's not just there for like the plot point. He has his own thing going on. And like him going through his whole arc with his family is also like indicative of him being a good character, on top of just being cool. But I don't know, I don't need to glaze him further. I think everybody loves him.
Yeah, one thing I will say about Killua that I really like, outside of him being a foil, is just how like humble he is. Like, Killua's childlike wonder is the best part about his character, because he's like this juxtaposition of horrendous assassin, but oh man, I spent all my money on Choco Robos and I couldn't make it home. And
I think that's an interesting part of Gon's influence over him, is that like Killua was forced to only think about the job for so long, and then he finally meets a guy where it's like, hey, you can just be a kid with me.
Yeah.
And then the whole of like the Hunter exam, and then like the fucking tower, I forget the name of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Heaven's Arena.
Heaven's Arena. It's just like Killua realizing that it's okay to be a kid.
And then they go straight to Greed Island.
And then Gon encouraging that. And then a lot of Killua's initial development is like Killua being like, I probably shouldn't do this thing because I was told not to, / I'm wary, / you know, various like job and adult related thought processes. And then Gon's like, how about I go in anyway? And then Killua's like, damn, I have to follow him now. And then Killua's development comes with like being forced into that situation by Gon, and then coming to terms with the fact that it's okay to be in that situation.
See, but the thing about the innocence though is that like, I always thought Illumi's needle, or like the thing that told Killua to run at all times, like his self-preservation, it is a device that is like, if I was able to talk to Rico through the screen. And it's so funny because it gets addressed. It's like, hey, Killua, you probably shouldn't fight that thing that will eat your asshole in a moment's notice if you make one mistake. Like, you should probably go. Gon's not worth it. Like, if I could talk to Reg, I'd be like, Reg, if you leave, Rico can't stay. She has to go up. Okay, just go, bro. But when we're comparing that like sense of adult preservation with his childlike wonderment and how much he's fought to keep it because it doesn't agree with his assassin lifestyle, it's a really good allegory of like childhood innocence and how you end up losing that, and how some of the things that you want to hold on to most dearly, you can't, because you have to put, your childhood away. You have to let go of that. And so I think that Hunter x Hunter being looked at not as like the greatest battle shonen of all time, but more like a story that builds on childhood innocence and how dangerous the world can be, and like that Berserk or Made in Abyss way. It's a little bit more cartoonish, but that's really what it's about. It's about like, how can kids be kids in a world this rough, even when your father's not there, right? Even when your mother's not able to protect you, who can you band along with to get together with the boys and still manage to maintain that childhood whimsy. It's a pretty cool element of the series that obviously doesn't get maintained in the parts about like Kurapika or when it's outside of Killua and Gon. But it's a really nice dynamic they have. And when they separate, I think it says more about how they're able to maintain that innocence or that wonder, that drive forward despite all the things that they've seen, right? Killua just wants to protect his sister and go and see the world and travel. And given what they went through, Gon got turned into a fucking Gibdo. He was a re-dead. And, they finally rescue him and still maintain that level of like wonder and love for the world. So as far as adventure stories go, right, I would put Hunter x Hunter over One Piece. The way that they travel through the world is second to none. And Killua is awesome. He is our conscience in the middle of the unconscionable. But
Yeah.
if you all are ready, I have another list for you.
Oh my god.
Are you all enjoying this activity?
Yeah, I know. I'm just curious what the next test is going to be.
Okay, cool. We could start talking about Piccolo and Hercule, but there were so many characters on this list that Venice is not necessarily familiar with it. I didn't want to spend too much time on it. And
that's fair.
I think we're going to hit Attack on Titan with this next one. All right.
Oh no.
But your next list is as
Okay.
follows. We have Ashalad from Vinland Saga.
Okay, this is going to be a tough one to beat.
We have Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter.
Oh man.
We have Levi from
Okay,
Attack on
there
Titan.
he is. That's why you didn't put him in the last list.
We have Serpico from Berserk. Sleeper pick.
It's such a hard list. What are you doing to me here?
OMG.
And then we have Tengen Uzui from Demon Slayer.
Okay, well, I know he's going in the bottom.
Tengen? My other king?
Yeah, he's there, not for you, Fujin.
Okay, the thing about Tengen is he's one of the best characters in Demon Slayer, but he's also a Demon Slayer character against non-Demon Slayer characters. So, like...
All right. Let's see.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
there's
this list is kind of
there's
tough.
Too many guys I like
Yeah.
on here.
How the hell am I supposed to? What am I? Okay, so
Damn.
5 was chosen, but 4, 3, and
Oh,
2, and 1. Like, what am I supposed to do here?
Bro, I'm fucking goated. Oh shit. There we go. All right. By the way, I'm putting these lists together as we're talking, so these aren't pre-prepared. Oh, I hit a button. Are you all still there on Discord?
Wait, what did you say?
I said I'm putting these lists together as we're talking. These are not pre-prepared. Damn, this is tough.
Oh, this is tough. I'm gonna have to. Okay.
Yeah, you got to make some cuts somewhere. All right, I got my number 2. No matter what happens, he's my number 2. That means he's my number 4. Damn. Which one? But oh man. Okay.
Oh. Okay, right. I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna think about it too heavily. I'm just gonna leave it there.
Is he my number 2? All right. No, I'm. Whew, okay, I got it. That's my list. Damn, I wish Miku, if you're still here, you should be making the list too, because I want to hear your thoughts. Since you know every damn thing.
Okay, should we go in reverse and do all of our 5s and all of our 4s again? Because I think that's a good idea.
Okay. Yeah. Because at the top, I think it's where this one gets hard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll go first, and then we'll do Fujin and Venice since we'll do reverse order. At number 5, I have Tengen.
What?
I have Tengen at 5 as well. It had to be done.
I have Levi.
Oh. Okay, wait.
Okay.
At number 4, I have Levi.
I have Tengen. Oh, sorry. It was for speech.
Go ahead, Fujin. Who do you have at 4?
I actually have Hisoka at 4.
Damn. Okay. Number 3, I have Ashalad.
What?
I have Levi at 3.
What? So good.
Number 2, I have Serpico. Fujin?
Oh, is it me next? I have Serpico here as well.
I have Ashland.
You have Serpico as number 1?
I do.
Damn. Okay, I have Hisoka at number 1.
Huh? Got that. I have Ashlad at number 1.
I totally thought you were gonna do Ashlad number 1. I am including Hisoka with manga context. I am caught up in the manga.
Okay, I'm including him just in anime context, just for the sake of
Okay.
this. I wasn't gonna include like latest arc Hisoka.
Yeah, if we're just doing anime context, I would switch Hisoka and Ashlad. I know that doesn't make sense because like Serpico's number 2, but like Serpico is number 2. Okay, that's not changing.
He is number 2 for me.
He's number 2. So Ashlad and Hisoka are interchangeable. If you don't include manga, I put Hisoka at 3. If you do include manga, I put him at 1. Not like that's not huge manga spoilers. We do get his backstory.
That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing for me. Like I was thinking like that. I was really thinking about that the whole time, and I was like, wait, I probably shouldn't include that because like most human beings aren't caught up with.
Yeah, most people aren't. Technically, we also get the Hisoka Crollo fight in the manga, not in the anime. Like, there's so much, and like where we are right now in the manga, like current Hisoka is still doing shit. So.
He's just always gonna be doing stuff. He's that one character that comes back all the time.
Hisoka is kind of like what Gojo should have been, where he's like this ever-present force in the series, but he's not doing things that detract from the rest of the cast, but like actively enhancing everyone else around him.
And I agree, definitely.
So, I would put him as my number 1 with everything that he's done together, not because his character is like complex or like even his backstory. It's a very Hisoka backstory, but overall, I think that when we're talking about good characters, the roles that they play are important. And Hisoka as this like driver of the plot via character menace, like everywhere he goes, he's just such a problem without doing or standing for anything.
He literally is though.
I don't know. I can't really describe it. It's like more like a video game thing. If you're playing like an RPG, go ahead.
Every time the story is about to happen, it's like, okay, here's the story plot point, and here's what the characters are working towards. And it's like everything's going great. We're gonna get to this plot point, and my history presented. Now the story's gonna go completely off. Like it's the worst example of that was in Greed Island, where it's like, okay, Greed Island's based on a game. Everything's gonna go like logically, and then Hisoka shows up and it's like, never mind.
Yeah, he's here. He's like, oh, is that my meat flopping around? I guess we're doing this.
Yeah.
Like that's the best way to describe it. Hisoka is an antagonist, not in like the primary antagonist kind of way, but in that just he's gonna throw everything off. He's more like a force of chaos. Yes.
He's literally a force of chaos. He does not subscribe to the plot in any way. He does not follow the main villain in any way. He sometimes fights the main villain.
Right. It's like
it just depends on how he feels at the time.
Yeah, Hisoka is so interesting because like juggling a complicated story like Hunter x Hunter and then having time to have this force of chaos ruining the shit you just set up and somehow also making that interesting. Bro,
the funniest thing is a lot of the time is the main character will fail to defeat the villain, and then Hisoka showing up will then allows him to win.
Yeah.
Like, and then sometimes the main characters will be so used to Hisoka being around that they'll plan around him arriving and then use his existence to like figure out a plan to win.
But then there's other times when like Hisoka being there is the reason shit can't go well. It's like, god damn it, fucking Hisoka.
It can go either way. Either Hisoka being there can be beneficial or it can be non-beneficial, and it depends entirely on the circumstances.
So, if Killua was on this list, I probably would put Hisoka above Killua. I'm being honest. or if I'm being honest. There are characters similar to Killua, but I don't think I've seen a character like Hisoka. And like even the whole like is Hisoka a pedophile conversation in the real world exemplifies what it's like to deal with Hisoka in world. You know what I'm saying? Like we cannot agree or come to a consensus on him as a character through fiction, but neither can the people in Hunter x Hunter. He's so interesting. I think he's such a good character. But that's my number one. It looks like you both have different choices. So Venice, you chose Serpico, and Fujin chose Astrolabe.
Choose Astrolabe, yes.
Which I understand. Like that was tough for me as well, because he was my number 2. Astrolabe was.
I think the reason I like Astrolabe more than Serpico is like they're both, as characters, they're both as developed as each other. I'd argue that Serpico, if anything, has more development as a person than Astrolabe does.
I would agree.
But what I like more about Astrolabe is what he means for the story and what he means for the main character's development. Like Serpico doesn't really like he has interactions with Guts and he has things that rub off on Guts. But ultimately, Serpico's kind of doing his own thing. That's his whole point of the character, is that Serpico does his own thing. And he has his own like realizations about himself and things that happen in the story. And then Guts like sort of tangentially interacts with them like in that way. Whereas like Astrolabe and Thorfinn's relationship is like what the story of like the first season of Vinland Saga literally rides on. And what he means as that antagonistic character is like kind of defining for the story. So I think that's what puts him above Serpico for me. Like Serpico is a great character, but he's sort of a great character in isolation from the rest of the story episode. Apart from obviously, you know, the characters he's related to, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, so that's where things are gonna get tricky. Venice, I will let you defend your GOAT before I come in, but you know, why do you have Serpico at 1?
Well, it was kind of like the opposite of what Fujin was saying.
I see how it is.
Like I didn't really think about his relationship to other people. I just more so thought about him like as a person by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would I be able to be like to say, oh, this is something Serpico would do based on how the manga depicts him? Yeah, like I feel like he's really fleshed out, and that's what I was considering when I was making the list. Even though I love Astrolabe, I get it, I do, but also Serpico's cute.
Did you say Serpico's cute?
I mean, he is.
I knew it. I knew the sexy was gonna get you. The funny thing is, when I put
that works for me too, Romeo. So
when I put Serpico on this list, I was like, I need to see how much he's gonna sex appeal his way to the top, because Serpico is such an interesting character. I do think both of you are kind of missing what makes him so valuable, but you can let me know what you think. Farnese,
Yes.
however. So she is our.
Obviously,
go ahead.
Obviously, his relationship with Farnese is incredibly important, but I didn't include that because when I was comparing him to Astrolabe, like I was talking about Astrolabe's importance to the main character. Obviously, Farnese, like as cool of a character she is, she's not the main character.
See, but that's the thing. I would compare Farnese. I'm so glad we did Made in Abyss before this. Farnese is the Rico of Berserk.
Wait, I was just about to say that. I was about to say that in a different timeline, bro, this is Rico and Ray.
This is Rico and Ray.
Well, yeah, I think the funny thing about Berserk is that all of the like the Guts' band characters are all the main characters of their own story. Like they all just happen to be in Guts' story.
Yes.
Like they could all equally be main characters.
Like I would argue that Guts is technically the weakest character of the group, and that's a good thing because like he's a great character in his own right. We spend a lot of time with him. You like identify with him, but Guts' character arc has always been paused since the eclipse. If we're being honest, like
yeah,
it's on hold until he can get Casca, until he can have closure with Griffith, and so you're watching all of these other characters like develop around him because he's already had his development. His story ended with the eclipse. Like for all intents and purposes, he should be dead, and it's beautiful. It's so great how that happens. But Farnese being like a Rico and that she's taking on way more than she can handle. But Serpico, he's not a reg, if you ask me, because Serpico's not also developing around Farnese. Serpico has developed. He's forced himself to develop. He's gone through his arc already, and he's using that to support Farnese to make sure that she is protected. And so all of her development is directly tied to him, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, everything that you said about Askeladd and Thorfinn and how his development is, or I'm sorry, how the development of Vinland Saga, right? The story is very tied to Askeladd. I think all the payoffs you get from Farnese can be actively tied to Serpico in the same way. It's like Serpico and Casca as a pillar is what Farnese stands up to, or like, I'm sorry, shoulders of giants.
I definitely agree.
So,
but like in specific, because I'm when I'm looking at the story, I'm looking like what are the central pillars of the story. And I think like again, Farnese's arc is like brilliant, but it is an arc. Like it's not like the central pillar of Berserk.
Central pillar of Berserk. It's weird because Berserk has so many different pillars. Like the central pillar of Berserk, I also think is technically the least developed, right? We've talked about how Guts and Casca are paused.
I agree.
So because it's like multiple pillars, you kind of get to choose your favorite ones, right? Like I think, unfortunately, when Miura died, I was like, hey mom, yeah, I'll give you a call. We'll have time. But I think, unfortunately, where Miura Sensei passed away was like right where the main arc was going to get picked up again. You know, we figure out what's up with the Moonchild, Guts and Casca do too, and we're about to have this great revelation, and then boom, right, taken from us too soon. With that being said, that Berserk is like an incomplete work. Choosing those pillars and like exploring each one for their value, I think is the best way to read the series. And out of all of them, I think Farnese, as it stands, has like the best story of any character. She's not my favorite character, but like her arc is really, really nice. Do you have a preferred?
One of my favorite characters.
She is one of your favorites?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Then we don't disagree,
well,
or
her and Serpico. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Her and Serpico, yeah. I give, because she's not one of my favorite characters, I actually give it to what is it, Shirka or Shirky? I pronounce it Shirka.
Oh, I like Shirky as well.
Yeah, Shirky is good.
Yeah, but she's my favorite character, and Serpico would be like second for me. But I do think that Serpico gets more credit for Farnese's arc than Shirka or Shirky. But anyway, my favorite is not Farnese, but I do really respect what they did with her because they took her from a Rico to a Farnese. So, hell yeah. But I was not expecting to rank so high on your list, TBH. Like that was very surprising and a very welcome surprise.
Who, me?
No, both of you. I didn't think that Serpico was gonna make it above Levi.
It's actually Serpeak if you didn't know.
Serpeak. All right, sick. So we are at the 2-hour mark. We got about 52 minutes. We can either do another list or we can call it here. Fujin, I am going to sorry, I am going to forego the additional stream for family reasons. I got some things I got to check on after this. But do you all want to do another list of characters, or do we start capping off the stream?
I was going to say, do we want to talk about the rest of the list, you know?
Oh, shit. There were other people on the list.
We've got Levi.
Yeah, we have Taylor.
Oh my god, my bad. Well, we talked about the big three. I totally forgot. Yeah, let's keep going. All right, so Levi, Tengen. Who wants to hit that?
I mean, I'd happily hit both of them, you know, but like it's.
God damn it.
That's so true.
All right, well, Mister, you pick one and go in first.
Excuse me. Well, I guess okay. I have a complicated relationship with Levi because like I have what I thought of him when I watched the show, and then like how I see him now that he became like a meme / Tumblr sexy man / he went through the what I like to call the Attack on Titan washing machine, where like it's really hard to look at Attack on Titan characters separated from what the fandom then portrayed them as afterwards. The Attack on Titan like zeitgeist was so big, so many of the characters got like put into like the big like washing machine tumble dryer and then came out as something different.
Yeah.
So if we look at Levi like purely as a character, he is one of the most interesting characters just because like he's this he's not old, but he sort of prescribes to this like, you know, the like watch out for someone for like the old man in the profession where people die young. Like he's been around for a while.
Yeah. He's
And
grizzled.
yeah, like, and he's sort of this one example of like the person that keeps living through. And he doesn't really have many connections as a result of that. And then when you get to season 3, and he does have a connection, he's got like this family member, which is like, whoa, what the hell? It's the first time that Levi really has to think about anything more than just his job. Like, it's like, okay, Levi, beforehand it was just like, you know, go out, smash Titan, go home. Now it's like, you have to actually think about, do you want to overthrow the government? Not exactly what he's had to process before. So I think he really was a shining character in season 3, because it was interesting to see this guy that just lived for doing the one thing he was good at, actually having to decide, like, okay, I have a duty of care to people now. Am I going to go through with it or not?
It's really funny. Something ironic. First off, hey Jill, welcome. That is Comey from Comey Can't Communicate. Ironically, I haven't seen the show, but I have a lot of people who adore it.
It's such a good comfort show. Well, I read the manga mostly. I own like 30 volumes of it because I'm, you know.
I will check it out.
It's just really comfy. Like, it's like the perfect combination of like tropes and like humor and like good moments. Like it's not like deep, but it's just satisfyingly done. Is what I like.
Okay. I agree with Fuji. It's definitely a comfort. All right, well, sick. I'm definitely gonna check it out. We're watching more anime these days anyway. It's one that's been on my list, but I kept having incels recommended to me, and I was like, I don't know if I want to watch an incel show. So
it's got that benefit as well, because when you were talking about like other like side characters having story, it has a lot of things in Komi where like side characters will get whole chapters dedicated to them.
Cool.
Which is quite cool.
I'd watch it to de-stress. Oh, that's really awesome. But about the thumbnail, the really funny thing though, Dennis, you put Levi in 5, right?
I did, but well, I'll get into it when.
Yeah. We'll come to you in a minute.
Yeah.
It's just that Tengen is in our thumbnail and he lost. He certifiably lost this round.
Well, the thing about Tengen is that like he's one of the most developed Hashiras, but like the Hashiras in general are just like they don't do much, like really. Like Tengen is good because, well, I think he benefits from one he's one of the only Hashiras that has a whole arc dedicated to just him. Like all the other Hashiras like get like pushed into either a small arc or they get pushed in alongside other Hashiras, so they don't get as much development. Whereas Tengen gets the whole. Well, first of all, he gets one of the best arcs, which helps. Yeah. And second of all, he's the only Hashira there.
It's definitely the best arc right now.
I'd say so. Which is in general, I'd say it's probably one of the best arcs. And also, he's at the point in the story where like Tanjiro and like the main characters aren't automatically more powerful than him. So he actually has something to prove in the story, and he has like lessons to teach. Whereas like by the time you get to like Swordsmith Village or like anything after that, where like Tanjiro just has sun breathing and can just automatically be better than everyone else, it makes the Hashira be kind of pointless at that point.
Especially for how much bravado they had in the beginning. Like we don't talk We don't talk enough about how much the Hashira need to be fucking cockslapped, because they have killed 0 upper moons, and Tanjiro caught like 3 in less than a year or some shit after having to like bow and kneel and have his fate decided by them. I was like, bro, you all are actually sorry. Like none of you do anything.
I think another issue I have with the Hashira is them all being introduced at once was a big problem.
Really? I thought that was hype.
It was a cool scene. It definitely was a hype and aura farming, definitely. But I think like it kind of made them suffer a bit, because it's like then I felt the author must have felt like they all needed to show up in order, which kind of made them like not feel like natural inclusions to the story. Like if they all showed up naturally at like points in the story that were like engineered for them, I'd feel better. But then it kind of felt just like you had like, okay, here's an arc, and then here's Tanjiro, and then here's Tanjiro with a Hashira, or here's Tanjiro with 2 Hashira, just so he's seen all of them by the time we get to the final battle. Like it kind of felt like they were ticking them all off. And it's like,
and honestly, I think the entertainment district could have used a second Hashira. Like that could have been something that got integrated in, especially if they were to develop a relationship between Zenitsu or Inosuke and a Hashira. Because it was always like Tanjiro's connecting with the Hashira, but those two are just in the area. And that's something that bothered me.
That bothered me too, especially Zenitsu, where like he really can benefit from having a Hashira.
anybody to
teach
help him.
lessons.
So no, I agree. I think if that had been like more of a focus, you could have used the Hashira more honestly, where like they do get these shining moments and they are acting as like mentors, even if begrudgingly, before we get to the final battle. But go ahead, Venice. Why do you have Tengen above Levi? That's the major question.
I think it's recency bias.
You said what?
I think it's recency bias because I watched Attack on Titan a while ago,
Mhm.
and I really like Tengen. Like you guys said, he's the best well fleshed out Hashira. Specifically because he like values his ladies.
Yeah.
And obviously that's the whole reason why he decides to retire. I mean, besides from his injuries, but really it's because he put them in danger, and that coupled with the fact that you wouldn't expect him to do that initially, just because he always talks about being flashy and how that's the most important thing, and then his personality in general is like you wouldn't expect him to like sacrifice like I guess his ambition and stuff for the safety of those that he loves. Like and to go on top of that, like there's like three of them, so like you think, oh, this guy's just like whatever, he's a ladies man, he likes women, blah 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 blah. But no, he cares about them, and he doesn't want to put them into more harm, and that's why he retired. So that's why I like him. But then at the same time, I'm like thinking about Levi. I probably should have put him higher, based on how committed he was to like be there for like the people that he worked with.
Yeah,
and
the
all the
Cervicore.
people in the squad, yeah. And I'm like reading. I keep like googling these characters to touch base and stuff because I have a terrible memory when it comes to this.
I will say one thing about. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, but I'm just saying, like, Levi is a leader, but not in the same way that most of the other, like Erwin. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not that kind of leader. He's more so like. He's like the kind of guy who is an example to you, but he also respects what you decide to do in any given situation, and he trusts his team to be like to decide for themselves like what they think is going to be best. And I feel like that is an underrated quality that he has. And I also do remember being really into him as a character too. So I'm saying I probably should have put him higher, but yeah.
I mean, the thing about Tengen, if we're talking about just like his theming, Tengen is kind of a whole package. Like there is no real criticism you can levy against him. He has a pretty consistent arc. He's a good mentor. He comes across as being, like you said, either a shallow or a character who doesn't form very deep bonds, and then you find out that's not the case. And that is one thing about Demon Slayer that you can say about everyone, that the main theme is that all people who fight the demons are doing so because they have these strong bonds that they want to protect, or the memories of people that they want to protect. And so the question is always, how does this character fit into that theme? And Tengen embodies it the best. So 100% with you on that. I think it's kind of tough on whether we put Tengen or Levi higher. I do think the theme that you pointed out, like the different kinds of leaders, you have like inspirational leaders, you have like servant leadership, right? I think he's more of like a servant leader in that he does for others and motivates them or creates a space for them to explore or develop themselves. And that's like a very underrated style of leadership. Even when we're talking about, I remember learning about leadership styles because I had issues with my bosses when I was working at fucking Kroger. And there was like one manager I super liked. like the guy would like sit down and listen to your concerns and be like, here's what I can and can't do. Here's also where you might be being unreasonable. But at the end of the day, let's get to work. And like I respected that dude so much. He was very Levi coded.
Right.
So
And that's exactly. Sorry.
What'd you say, Fuji?
That,
Never has anyone called their boss Levi coded.
Go ahead, Vitas.
no, I was gonna say that's exactly what I was thinking because obviously, you know, my work situation and the different bosses I have.
Yeah. It is
And
interesting.
So when I'm thinking about the Levi and his style and approach, like I think that is more valuable than somebody who just tells you what to do and you follow them and it's black and white.
But it's interesting because that comes after Erwin's made like the great sacrifice and he's done his speech and like had everybody, you know, turn into rubble in front of the Beast Titan. Like that was really cool. And it's funny that technically the better leader of the two is the one who you wouldn't have pegged to be the leader. Like Erwin's awesome. No shame in his game. I do think Levi is ultimately better than he is for multiple reasons. And it's nice.
The thing about they have two very different leadership styles in the sense that Erwin's very hands-on and Levi's very hands-off. And the reason they work so well as a team is because they don't need to cover for each other. Like Erwin is very much like, I'm going to be there to say the stuff to my troops and I'm going to lead by example and do what I want them to do. Whereas Levi's like, instead of being there for them, I'm going to be an example of what they could become if they follow me. Yeah, and they work the best when they're both together because they cover both sides of the spectrum.
And I could agree that they definitely are best when they're together. When you ask me like which one is more valuable to the cause, I think that having somebody inspire you for a moment versus having someone inspire you every single day, there's an interesting conversation there. Like Levi does so through his actions. Not to say that Erwin doesn't, but like he primarily works through his words, right? He puts the situation into context for you at that minute. But he has to be hands-on because like those impressions, that inspiration is fleeting. It's not necessarily something that you can sustain a movement on in the same way that Levi is able to. So this kind of branches more so into like personal philosophy, grassroots organizations, social change. But because you could even get to that kind of conversation on the dynamic between Levi and Erwin, I think that's where his character shines. Yes, the cool spinny stuff and him cleaning up are like cherries on top of an interesting cake. But Tengen, on the other hand, he is like the quintessential or perfect representation of he's mean to everyone else, but he's nice to me guy, like at the peak, right? And unfortunately, that narrative or that archetype can only go so far. And I think compared to the others that we have, the farthest it can go is 5th place. Great stuff, you know? Like, this is the best mean to everyone else, but nice to me, flashy guy we've ever seen. But he's not toppling Levi Ackerman.
Yeah, you're right. Y'all got me.
Okay, cool. I think that one might have been my favorite of the 3 lists.
That was a good list.
Let's see. Yeah, we got. Well, do you all want to go to the 5 or the 5:30? Because we could keep it going as long as I'm off stream by like 5:30. I'll have enough time to do what I got to do. Welcome, Star.
What did you plan to do next?
I got to call my family. We've got some.
No, I meant like in the.
Oh, God damn it! It was vague. It was a vague question. So for the next part, I think I wanted to distill, like each of us talk about the 3 things that we think a good character requires, like how to make or develop a good character. And then we can talk about what we want to hit in the next stream, assign some homework, and call it a day. Sound good to you?
Works for me.
Yeah.
Okay. So I actually want you to write this out. So like take some time, whether it's like 5 minutes or so, to put this together.
Ad-lib this.
Well, the reason is that I want to be able to come back to this and like as we're assessing shows, like the things that we're looking for, if that makes sense. Because it can really streamline conversation. Like it's great to say things off the cuff and we want to have that spontaneous element, but I want to write down what your like takes are for what makes a good character so that we can reference it in future episodes. If that's okay.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, sick. So for me, all right, I got mine. And I'm assuming we will have some overlap. Oops. I've fucking ruined this stream setup for a moment. Okay, there we go. I realized I cannot check Discord while this is up. Otherwise, it changes out all of our faces. Hello.
Okay, can I go first?
Yeah. If that's okay
Wait,
with
right now.
Fujin.
Yeah.
Fujin, I'm gonna steal your spotlight real quick.
I mean, there was no spotlight that I was gonna have anyway. It's fine.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay, since I've been watching Vinland Saga, this is based off the characters of this show, and Torfin, who I didn't like at first, but think is a great character. So basically, what I have, in no specific order, is that I think a good character has to have flaws.
Okay, flaws.
Like, yeah, something that, like, I don't think they should be just strength. Obviously, I think they need to have their own weaknesses. They should be multidimensional. And their flaws should be like an obvious opportunity for them to grow throughout the show. And with that, with those flaws, like they have to have good motivation to combat those flaws and like why they either need to work on it because they have to and it's part of surviving, or they want to because of some emotional epiphany that they have. And then my third one is being authentic.
Okay.
I feel like they have to make believable decisions.
Okay.
And kind of act within their given flaws and motivations. Like it can't be coming from left field. So yeah, that's my list.
Okay, so it looks like all three of them are connected to flaws in some way. But what I have written down is 1, they have to have flaws. 2, they have to have a motivation to work on those flaws. And 3, they have to have the ability to be authentic and act within their flaws. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. It's pretty interesting. I didn't think that's the route you were going to take. But I like it.
It's all Torfin, okay?
Yeah, because you complained about his ass from the moment you turned the shit on.
But like you understand why he chose the decisions. Like you understand why he had this idea of war, why he wanted to go on the boat with his dad. Like you understand all those things. I just didn't agree with them because you know. But
it's kind of like a tragedy. You're watching it unfold and you're like, no, stop, this is wrong, but you can't do anything to change it.
Exactly. But now he's in his reborn phase.
Stardew Valley.
Christian out here. So yeah.
Okay. Sick. So I got your 3 down. Fujin, what do you have?
I'm trying to think of a way of like expressing this. So the first thing I probably want from a good character is I say like a solid grounding. Basically, you want to know, not necessarily from like stage 1, but like relatively early, what this character means. And basically you want to know what the character is about.
Okay.
What their mindset is, what their approach is. So then when this character enters, like, basically you want the character to be able to act as a free agent in the story. You want the character to have enough, like, how do I describe it? Like, you want their like tapestry of who they are, be it their personality, their motivations, their background, what they have left to work on, to be like well threaded enough so that when they go through the story, you can kind of feel like you know, like, you can not predict the story per se, but you know, like, what they have to do and how that might go one way or might go the other way. Basically, you want the character to be ahead of you, pretty much. Like, you don't want to have to be like, oh, this character only has this one thing going for them, therefore I know this is definitely going to happen. Like, you want them to have like a sort of like like a tapestry of pieces that aren't just like one block, but like a multiple different bits, so that they can be challenged at different points in the story, and then they can just I didn't explain it very well, but
No. So just really quick. Is that all for number 1, or is this number 1 and 2?
this is all for number 1.
Okay. So for number 1, I have.
I say a layered character is important. Like,
Okay.
you
So
don't want
yeah,
the character to be,
complexity
like,
and gotcha. Put down complexity for number 1.
but not like, I'm not saying complexity definitely makes a good character, because you can have good simple characters.
Right.
But in order to have a good simple character, you have to put the simple character in a complex situation.
Right. No, I agree. So that complexity that invites you in, either it happens in the character or in the world.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I'm with you. That makes perfect sense.
So either the story has to be prepared to challenge a simple character, or the simple story has to be prepared to be challenged by a complex character.
Okay, so
that's basically point 1. Point 2 is, I guess, I'm trying to think of anything. I wrote this down, but like, I'm trying to think of a way of explaining it. Okay, this is the best way to describe it. The character has to justify their own reason to exist, basically.
Okay.
Like, if you have a story set out a certain way, like, the character has to essentially prove through their character arc, or through their role in the plot, or through like their actions, like, why do I exist? Like, what was the purpose for me being written? Like, do I tie into the themes of the story?
Mm-hmm.
Do I help develop another character? Do I help push the next part of the plot forward? Like, basically, you don't want your character to just be like existing and doing like, and contributing nothing to anything, any part of the story, or any part of like anything. The character essentially has to like sort of either have an anchor to something in the story initially, or to throughout the story prove why they exist in some way.
Okay, so justify the reason to exist. I got you.
And again, trying to think of the best way to make this last point.
Oh, take your time. Oh, really quick. Start. It's fine. You can send me Discord messages. That's on me. I just checked it on the wrong screen, so you're all good. Thanks for hanging out. All right, go ahead, Fuja.
Okay, I think the last one I'm having a hard time. Okay, I think a character has to create some level of, so like, when you've got like an equilibrium established in the story, if you add a new character, they have to in some way cause an imbalance upon their arrival, basically.
Okay.
Like, if there's a character that like exists like already in a story, I think it's fine for them to like exist, like let's say there's like a character that's relevant to someone's backstory and they only appear in the backstory and nowhere else. Like, that's fine. Like, you sometimes you'll need like a thread character or a connecting character to make to flesh out basically like the world. But I think any form of fleshing out is always going to be some form of imbalancing, because you've got a status quo at any point in the story. I think a point of a character being there, it should be to imbalance status quo as it is at that point, and then establish a new status quo once they've entered the story. Like, the story should not be the same before and after they enter. It should be different.
Yeah. No, that checks out. That checks out. So the way that I characterize this is that for number one, you have the grounding / complexity of the character. As an example, simple character challenged by a complex world, or a complex character in and of themselves, right? Something that invites you in. Second, you need to justify the reason that this character exists, right? In the story, they have to have some sort of reason to enter, as opposed to just filling time or wasting time. And then finally, if it's a new character, they need to be able to disrupt the story in some way, right? The challenge is to find an equilibrium, so before and after they're introduced. But also, if they're an existing character, then they should probably be working towards maintaining or establishing the equilibrium from when they were introduced. And so if you look at it, every single character will follow that trope at some point in a good story.
Yeah, I'd say I agree with that. Maybe, again, there's maybe some exceptions that I can't think of right now, but I think in general that applies to most things.
Okay. Sick nasty. Well, then for mine, I have three. The first that I have is world connection. Like, why are they here? Why is this character in this world? Every world is huge, and usually a story only has the ability to focus on like a certain subset of it, right? So why is this character in our realm of the world that we can see? The second one is the philosophy of the character. What do they stand for? This is part of, I think it goes over like justifying the reason to exist, or like motivation to work on flaws. It will inevitably come up that when you learn what a character is about, that motivation will come from that. So I do think the philosophy is super important. I have to be able to nail that down. It should be consistent. And then the last one is suspension of disbelief. This one is almost word for word what Venice was talking about in authentic, like acting within their flaws, but expanding it out a bit. I think that any action a character takes, or any way that a character is used in the story, you should never be taken out of the moment saying like, oh, this character doesn't fit here, like somebody else should be doing this. If you can maintain these things, there's not really a bad decision you can make in a story, because the audience will agree with you, or at least be able to believe that it could happen. So for me, I'm very character driven, but as long as you have a connection to the world, like I'm not seeing a JJK character in my, Made in Abyss. If they have a philosophy that I can understand or get behind that is consistent, and ultimately I can believe how this character is being used, probably a good character.
That sounds like a good selection.
Yeah.
There's some crossover with my ones, and probably even Venice's ones. So
Yeah. I was assuming we were going to have some crossover. What I think is interesting is that a good character kind of comes from, your set of values, what will help you to enjoy a piece of work. What I find interesting is that Venice seems to be kind of a masochist when she watches shows, and that's actually shown throughout all of our TV
What
watching.
does that mean?
Well, you like payoffs. You want to be able to struggle with a character, even if it means struggling to watch that character. Like, if it is hard for you to watch, but later on you get that payoff, those are the characters that make the biggest impact on you. Like, show you pain. And you actually, when we first used to argue about films in our relationship or TV shows, you would always be watching what I would consider slop. I'm like, I'm not going to sit through 13 hours of this nonsense for barely a payoff. But that's been right up your alley. So you're kind of a masochist. Fujin, actually, as you were approaching what makes a good character, you took a very writing centric focus. You're thinking about like, why would I write a character or include a character, waste the page on them if they don't satisfy like these three things, right?
Yeah.
Justifying the reason to exist, disrupting the equilibrium. This has the shades of somebody who is just finished an arc and is trying to do the next arc of their story. Like, this is what I need as my roadmap.
As someone who writes lots of characters, I think a lot about like when I'm making another character, like what are they doing? Yeah.
No, and that definitely shows in like what you're looking for when you're analyzing somebody else's character. Whereas I am very like selfish, right? I'm thinking of what will help me finish your story. What's going to make me invest the time in it. It's almost antithetical to Venice's, even though some of those overlap. Where she's like, I just need the payoff to be good. I'm like, you got to give me something to work with, so that I can even make the commitment. And so, part of the reason why I like this activity is that it kind of shows our priorities as, consumers of media and what we'll be representing, which unironically makes us a pretty balanced group to review anime and media with. Like, we're not the same and we have these different priorities. But I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'd say so, because it means that like when we, that's the same reason why our lists are like there's been a lot of similarity, but there's also been a lot of difference in the ones we've chosen. So
you have anything else, Venice, before we start wrapping up?
yeah, we have to wrap. I wasn't ready for this.
No. Everybody go watch the movie, the Demon Slayer movie.
Yeah. You find a way to get that done by the next stream. Venice will finish Vinland Saga.
I'm gonna watch it mostly for the Akaza fight, because I like the Akaza.
That's probably the second or third best reason to watch that film.
Okay, that's good. That's good news.
But well, cool. I consider these first 2 or 3 episodes kind of the anime or co-host speed dating round, where we're all getting to know each other and deciding what the dynamic's going to be like. No, but it's been really cool. I didn't expect like that. Hisoka, Serpico, Ashlad list. I thought that was really insightful into like what we value, what our dynamics are. You both are some fucking whores. Yeah.
I mean, hey, you've seen Hisoka with his hair down.
Yeah. Hey, you're right. I should have put an Ashlad up just to hold firm, brothers. We must stay committed. But it's nice. I'm excited about our next one. So I think what we'll do is we'll continue Made in Abyss. We'll watch our movie. We'll touch on the Demon Slayer movie characterization breakdown, since we'll actually be able to talk about that as like a breaking news, right? We're pretty early on, that just released, so we can actually have that conversation pretty soon. But other than that, are there any? I'm trying to think. Oh fuck! No, I'm not gonna be here next Sunday. Again, I'm gonna go home to visit family. So we'll be picking up in October, unless you two want to do a solo stream.
I feel like it's not the same without Romeo. We're gonna have
right. The table has the 3 of us.
Exactly. Who are we gonna put in the middle?
I can make a thumbnail where it's pushing my face in like a paper shredder, and then the bottom is shredded out, and then it's just the 2 of you.
That would be funny, but I think you're the glue, Romeo. I don't mind waiting another week if it means we get to have you here.
Fine, I guess we'll just skip the content. But yeah, I shouldn't be having too many breaks like this. So we'll pause for the rest of September. This will be the one that we do, and then we'll pick up in October, and then try to be consistent there on out. Venice wasn't going to be able to make today, but I'm glad you were able to. Thank goodness that tattoo artist was a dick.
Yeah, thank God.
Thank goodness, because this was hype. But I think the last thing we need to do is pick a series. If we can do a longer stream to make up for the one that I'm missing, it'd be nice to do like an anime or episode review. So if we're watching Made in Abyss, Fujin, is there one that we can all pick up together?
As in like a new show that none of us have watched?
Either something like that or a show that you haven't watched in a while. I'm down for either.
I haven't watched in a while. I guess I have to discuss that, because there's a lot of shows I haven't watched in a while.
Okay. Would you be able to have something picked out, or like give us a list that we can choose from in like the next week?
I'd say because I probably there's a likelihood that I've watched it is pretty high. I'd say I'd let you guys choose, and then I can just like, because if Venice wants to watch something new, then it's good for Venice to choose, and then I can just be like, yeah, I've seen that, but I don't mind watching it again.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, if it's something new. Okay, well, I was also suggesting like, because we should probably do both. For new things, it'd be pretty easy, I think, to find something that we could all just watch together. But I also consider you our anime old head, so you know, we're trying to get some of those old head takes out. So if you could prepare like a list of like your classics.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, there's plenty of classics I'd be happy to recommend.
Yeah, because we're doing Made in Abyss, but like that's new enough that I don't think
it's 10 years old now, scarily.
But you know, there's a chance that like some people have seen it who still haven't watched the fucking classics. So that'll be your homework. I think we'll go ahead and cut it here then, unless there are any final thoughts.
No, I don't think so.
All right.
The fact that Gojo managed to avoid the bottom spot.
In 2 lists. Crazy. All right, good shit. We will do this activity again though, because I think there's some still some content, and I'll make some curated lists myself, especially as we watch more anime together. We'll start pulling from different ones that we've all shared. So
sounds like a plan.
All right. Well, this will do it, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. If you were here at any point, mwah. If you're coming for the VOD, mwah, mwah. Thanks for watching.
If you're rewatching the VOD 20 times, even better. have it on auto loop, just right click on the
And if you subscribe just for these, well then, that's what it's all about. Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, as soon as we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're gonna get the Romeo subscriber only content. You know, get ready for that.
That's when the ASMR channel drops and we get the feet cam.
Yeah.
All right, let's call it there. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.
Bye.